to choose that, let me grow this coffee, let me grow Arabica or let me grow Robusta?
I think it's very easy for him to decide depending on where he is located.
Okay.
A person in Masaka, Luero, those are low altitude areas. So a Robusta coffee will do well in those regions. So a person in Mbale, Kasese, those mountainous areas, yes, you can do Robusta, but it won't give you that much yield compared to the person growing the Robusta in the central.
So speaking about the Erigon region, which is the altitude around 1,800
to 2,200. Yeah.
So which means the longer the altitude, the best the coffee that comes out.
The whole world is undergoing a credit crunch.
Yeah.
The difference between Uganda and other countries is for us to talk about it, and the president doesn't talk about it. Other countries don't talk about it.
Yeah.
If you realize previously, we've been able to get through our manager because of this social capital.
Yeah.
Santul would get money, and teams to travel. Even when the government has given them money, the team has traveled. Then the government will pay slowly, and then clear that. But right now, this was facing everywhere, and this is the time where we also got the Olympics coming through.
Yeah.
As football, we submitted our budgets for all our calendar submitted there. But do you understand right now, financially, everything's been cut down for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
We had to struggle. And so remember, on a basketball, she has to travel. Everyone wants to travel.
Yeah.
But the key thing is ownership of everybody. Like I can tell you, under 16, 4 days to the team traveling.
Yeah.
When you go to another, the boys can't travel because of social capital which we have. And I was able to reach one of the parents who is whose son was playing under 16, who's the captain under 16.
Yeah.
And because of that, she said, "No way, my boy can be in camp for these few days, but also a few days. They're only there for." The boys actually did only 3 days camp. So because there was no money, I'm not sure if the government is going to give you or not, because of everything going on, preparation becomes very poor. And if you've seen, before the lockdown, other things we had before, our teams have been preparing. And if you've seen, we're taking over the Kenyan national team, all those, in the region.
Yeah.
Rwanda is in Afro, first of all, because they're hosting. You know, but Uganda, we have to go through the hard way to be there. That's something which is very key for us. So the key thing, what I'm talking about, what I'm requesting is all stakeholders in Uganda. Coca-Cola, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Hima Cement, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Total, Shell, all these corporate, all these banks, they make money in Uganda, a lot of money in Uganda.
Yeah.
Their willingness to give back to community. I know we can, through the sports development, we can ask the government that whoever is giving, supporting the sports area, we give back. Maybe can get a tax holiday. So there we'll have continuity.
Hygiene, because impression is key.
Yeah.
Remember, you're serving coffee. Coffee is so simple. If you, I don't know if you have some coffee cups here. I will show this. You can find a very small cup, and you have to go pour over there.
Yeah.
So if you're dirty, you have to, you have to be so hygienic.
Yeah.
Where you work from, the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
Are you attractive? You yourself, you're the first marketeer of your coffee. Yeah. Because people may come to the station and they maybe they have never taken coffee. Does that mean you will never sell your coffee? No. But if you present yourself well, you tell some people you look nice, you dress well, you smell well, they can even give you audience. You talk to them about the coffee and the advantages. convince them, but you not convince somebody when you're stinking, you're looking shabby, you know. Nobody can allow you to brew their coffee when you're ramshackled. Hygiene matters. Your personal hygiene, the sanitation at your station, oh, it really matters. A lot. And there is no excuse for that.
Like I said, I'm still learning. I don't think I'm ready to be a CEO yet.
Yes.
Well, so for me, I could say bring the perspective of someone who has gone through the challenges. And like I said, I've been on the side of someone that needs to get their documents. And I've also been on the verification end. So I really understand the pain points from a personal perspective. And I think for me, that's what drives me. Because I know that challenge. I've been there. And that basically drives me to push. Drives me to better explain, you know, what the product does. Because sometimes, you know, even when you get into spaces, people just think, oh, you have just got this product, you don't understand what it does, you don't really understand the challenges. But as someone who understands the challenges, I'm able to better explain what the product brings on the table from a personal perspective. So I think that's been a success. And the fact that we have managed to get partners here is a huge success. It's a huge success. You know, when something is new, it's very difficult for people to hop onto it. You know. And if people get onto it, sometimes it's usually for the wrong reasons. But when you actually find people that you know that believe in it, that want to work with you to keep improving it, that want to work with you to keep having that feedback to improve the product, it is a big plus. It's a big plus because you could build a product, put so much time and money into it, and it's not used by anyone.
Wow. Which we have seen before.
It's a reality. But the fact that, you know, our product is out there and it is changing lives, because for us that's the end goal. Yes, money is important in business, but we also want to change lives. We also want to meet challenges, and that is also our end goal. And seeing our product out there and doing what it's supposed to do is my oh my.
Wow.
It's a success.
Wow.
Yes, please.
I know it's the coffee break, and as we're having the coffee break, we need to make coffee first.
Yeah, sure.
And then we can enjoy our conversation. Here's water right over there, and then what are we going to have today here?
We are going to have a French press.
A French press. Well, I think most of you, if you've been following the show, we've had a French press being taught you how it's made. So we won't delve too much into it. So Ibra will make the French press as we moving on with the show. So Ibra, how good is Ugandan coffee? Like, how do you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10. For now, since we are in the second position in Africa, our coffee is really doing good on the market, and on the world we are 8th. Yeah. So still our coffee is doing good, just because very many farmers have put in enough efforts to produce good quality coffee.
Does it always start with farmers?
It always has to start with farmers.
Because, I mean, I could be a business person, but I want a certain cup of or type of coffee, and I can't grow that coffee because I want it. Does it always have to be like, you farmers have to do this for me so that I can come to get this best coffee, whether it's best or bad? Does it have to be?
Yeah, it has to be. You know, just like when you're trying to raise a kid. So the future of the kid will always be like, okay, like the way you raise a kid, it will have to reflect how the kid will be. Yes, just the same way with coffee. The way you grow the coffee, it will always reflect in the cup, whether bad or good. So you have to put much attention in the garden so that you can have a good result in the cup.
There we go. What's the right or the most important stage of coffee, like in the coffee production? Because the fact that we are second in Africa behind Ethiopia, it means we're doing all what it takes to have the best coffee. So what's the most important stage in coffee? It's
the farm.
The farm?
Yes.
I mean, you're making coffee right here. Why isn't this important?
Let me tell you why the farm. If a farmer just grows coffee and harvests anyhowly, even the green, the red, everything. So up to that point of processing, to hulling, roasting and all that stuff, up to the cup, trust me, this person who is going to enjoy this cup of coffee, once he or she finds a defect in this cup, trust me, the whole point will go back to where the coffee is coming from. So there will be some kind of traceability. So if, let's say, if an American guy came into Uganda and be like, can I have this cup of coffee? And that cup of coffee tastes bad, be like, where does this coffee come from?
I mean, we're ranked number 8, so why does he even have to ask where it comes from? Because we have the best coffee.
Yes, we have the best coffee, and we are trying to produce more.
At least coffee. To be in top 5, not in the top 10. So, go on.
Yeah. So, if this person has a very negative attitude or a negative perspective towards a cup of coffee, this will be like, now Ugandan coffee is totally bad. So this cup of coffee will represent the whole coffee in
the world,
in the country.
In the country.
Yes.
So Ibra, let's bring this to our coffee shops.
Yeah.
Deep down, like Wild Coffee, you go to coffee shops like Coffee at Last, Enduro Coffee, wherever you are watching us from, there's a nearby coffee shop around you.
Yes.
If you go to that coffee shop and you enter into that coffee shop and you don't get any kick of coffee, like there is that kick that comes along with coffee when you enter, just like the one I'm feeling, the kick of coffee right now, the one I'm going to take.
The aroma.
Yeah. So does it mean that that coffee is bad?
No. When you don't feel that aroma from the coffee by the time you enter into a coffee shop, you have to find out what's in the cup. Yes. So you can go ahead and order for a cup of coffee and take it. Then from there you can go ahead and ask, in case it's all allowed, be like, what coffee am I having? Where does it come from? How is it processed? Like some few questions about the coffee, so that you can also get to know the coffee that you're taking. Yeah.
So you made this French press right here, and I just want to know about it just a little while. Yeah. Why did you leave it to first set over there, not pouring direct into the cup?
The cup. Yeah. You know, brewing, if you really want to have a very, very nice cup of coffee with all its content, it's a time-based process. So there are factors that are considered when brewing. One, brewing is a time-based process. We follow time. Look at the measurements, in simple terms, ratio. That's the coffee to water ratio. Yes. So I'm leaving it to stand here for it to brew, like to extract all the required components that I should find in my cup. Yes.
So guys, I'm with a senior barista here, and today I'm gonna do some cupping with him. It's called a blind cupping, right?
Blind cupping, open cupping, yeah.
So we're gonna do this cupping of this French press coffee right here. So isn't it ready to be taken? Because I can't wait anymore. I want to have my coffee.
No. I personally, I love experimenting. Yeah. So this coffee, maybe briefly, I just blended different kinds of coffee and different roast profiles. Yeah.
Wow. See how it's being poured. Hello guys, we still are watching the coffee break here on House of Talent TV. So we're streaming live on Facebook as House of Talent Uganda, and also on YouTube as House of Talent Uganda. And get engaged with us on Twitter at HTV Uganda so that we can get to know what you're thinking about the show. What do you think about this topic? Is Ugandan coffee that good? And before we move on, we get to taste this coffee and we'll see how best it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take my sip. The first thing I'm getting is cinnamon.
Yeah, this coffee is so spicy. Yeah, so spicy. It has some kick of a citrus note, like orange-like. Yeah.
So why is it that everyone who talks about coffee is talking about citrus, lemon, orange? So you're also talking about the same thing. Are they like the best things we find in coffee?
Actually, I try to follow up on the common or the basic flavor notes that are in Ugandan coffee, depending on the way they are processed. Yeah. So specifically this coffee, I did it like intentionally to blend 2 coffees of different roast profile and 3 coffees of different processing technique.
Okay.
Yeah. So this coffee has 50% of honey processed coffee, medium roast, and the other 50% is a blend of washed Elgon with natural Robusta.
Wow. I talked about the SL14, SL28.
Yes, yeah.
What's SL to our viewers watching over there?
SL, it's a kind of a variety, Arabica variety that was designed in Kenya by a Scottish lab technician. Yeah. So he named the variety.
What's SL for?
SL, it's a Scottish lab.
Scottish lab.
Yeah.
When do we get in Uganda? Ugandan lab.
By the way, the beauty with Uganda, since I'd say to be the birthplace of Robusta, which is a credit to us, and when you look at the Robusta cupping protocols and the Robusta score sheet, it was designed in Uganda at Uganda Coffee Development Authority. So we own the credit that whatever you do with the Robusta, whether you're in Brazil, whether you're in Guatemala, anywhere, as long as you're cupping Robusta, you follow the cupping protocols that were designed in Uganda, as well as the cupping score sheet of Robusta that has our UCDA logo on it.
Okay guys, we're going to take a short commercial break, but in a minute we're going to be having a break while taking our coffee. See you in a minute.
Welcome to this year's edition of Doa Doa 2021.
We have revived the King's Entenga music.
I started playing music when I was 9 years old in 1945, and up to today, I'm still learning it.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Okay guys, welcome back from that short commercial break. It's still the coffee break with me, Amoni Mukisa, right here on the House of Talent TV Uganda. And we're streaming live both on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Get there, share with us what you think about the coffee break show as we're discussing the topic, is Ugandan coffee that good? Because being ranked the 8th in the world as the most growing country and the 2nd behind Ethiopia in Africa, that means a lot. We have to talk more about this, and I'm still with Ibra right here in the studio as we're having our coffee right here. Ibra,
yes.
So we're still, before we went to a break, we were talking about the coffee in this cup.
Yeah.
I want to know, what do you take to consider that this coffee is good?
Good. One, you look at the flavor profile of the coffee itself. You look at some other attributes like the body, the acidity, the sweetness, and the balance. Yes.
So that's the flavor profile?
The attribute part of it. Then the flavor, that what flavor do you get? What other unique flavors? Because there are some other common flavors that you get in the coffee, like the chocolate, the...
In simple terms, like what's like the flavor profile for our viewer watching out there and is not well conversed with like coffee terms?
Okay.
Yeah.
A flavor profile is like that sensation that you get that reminds you of a certain thing. Let me say, look at the fruit. The moment you grind a certain coffee, you get that fragrance that hits you back at your mind. Like, okay, it smells like jackfruit or smells like banana. So it's a flavor. Yes.
It's a flavor. So what flavors do you get as you're taking your coffee? If you're in a coffee shop or you've made your coffee at home, what flavors do you get? Share with us on our the social media handles. And basically, you can also tag me on Twitter so that we can have this conversation at Amoni Mukisa right over there, and tell us what you get when you take that coffee. On the show, we shall be having Ronnie Muhumza, the CEO of Clear Cafe Uganda, to elaborate more about the coffee and why he thinks Ugandan coffee is good. So look out for that segment that will be coming along in the show. So Ibra,
yes,
there are many myths in coffee. For example, you hear about coffee is bad for your health. You know, so when we have very many myths like this, don't they affect the quality of our coffee and coffee consumption in Uganda?
Well, I think the myths that are running out like about coffee, I think they don't affect the quality of the coffee, but the consumption rate.
The consumption rate?
Yes.
Because I mean, if someone is saying I have I get headache when I take coffee, because I've had our cameraman here say that when he takes coffee, that's headache for him the whole day. So that's already a negativity, positive, a negative attitude towards coffee, which means whenever he goes somewhere, he will say that the Ugandan coffee is bad. Whenever I take it, I get this.
So one thing I would tell people that don't compare yourself to the rest. You know, everyone has his own way of reaction towards the caffeine in coffee or the coffee. For example, the way you react towards caffeine is different from the way I do. You get? So if you take coffee and you get headache, that's your own reaction towards the coffee. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It's because the body is trying to react and stabilize. That's what I can say. Yeah.
I mean, you've done biotechnology at Kyambogo University.
Yes.
What are these campus institutions doing for us at least to have the best coffee in Uganda?
Oh, let me start with a coffee club in the institutions. The reason as why I think the government, by the aid of Uganda Coffee Development Authority, are setting up coffee clubs in institutions so that they can encourage the young blood into the coffee industry, because it all starts from down. Yes. So biotechnology, it's a very wide part as far as coffee industry is concerned. Look at agronomy part of it. Look at breeding. Right now we have a new modern technology of breeding coffee, like the tissue culture. So it's all biotechnology. Look at the molecular part of it. designing hybrids, designing varieties. So it's all about biotechnology.
I mean, I've seen you post more, because I follow you on your social media handles, I've seen you post more of coffee varieties, like coffee trees, coffee beans, and you talk about them. Are there specific coffee varieties that we do in Uganda, and that's why we're having like the best coffee?
Yes, we have different varieties in Uganda. Let me talk about the original Bugisu. The original Bugisu, Nyathaland, it's in regions of Mbale mostly, yes. And we have SL14, we have SL28. We have some farmers around the Elgon, like Sipi, they have Batian, but it's still under study according to the survey that I've done. Yeah, the Batian variety. Then as you're trying to cross over to Kenya, just at the border, some farmers that do share the land with Uganda and Kenya, they have Rui 11 or Rui Roman 2. Yeah.
Wow, that's the information that you need to know when you're watching the coffee break. And then let's talk to Ronnie Muhumza, the CEO of Clear Cafe. Hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm very good. How are you, man?
I think we shall get back to Ronnie. It's just a technical problem, but we're still moving on with the coffee break on House of Talent TV, and my name is Amul Mukisa. So, Ibra, let's talk about the coffee in the coffee shops.
Yes.
What does it take for someone, for example, he owns a coffee shop, to say, I want to go for this coffee profile, I want to go for this type of coffee?
Well, it all starts with the standard of a coffee shop. So a coffee shop owner should have a standard that can guide him or her towards where he or she's going.
These coffee standards, do they include the baristas, the coffee graders, the cuppers, to guide this person? Because it's a business, yes, remember? Yeah. So someone will come out and say, I need this type of coffee because it's this much in terms of amount. Like, for example, I have to get coffee whenever I need it and it's cheap. Does it go along with that, or it comes along with the guidance that's coming through the the baristas, coffee cuppers, graders?
Yeah, about the standard, you're supposed to know, like, I'm getting into the coffee business, which is a coffee shop, and I want to deal or specialize in coffee, let me say. So you are supposed to know the type of coffee that you're going to deal with. You can go ahead and look at the roast profile, the baristas themselves that are going to brew this coffee. Yes. Are they equipped with more knowledge? Do they know what they're doing? And are they willing to convince a client to take this cup of coffee? Yes.
Okay. All right, we're having Ronnie is back again. Ronnie, how is it in coffee shops or in Clear Cafe? What terms do you take, or what advice do you consider to buy a certain type of coffee?
Well, for me, coffee is like one of those drinks that are conversational, you know. So for me, first and foremost, I want my barista to have the knowledge of the coffee he's selling, and you know, the blend, you know, the acidity levels, and the roast, where the bean is sourced, how it's washed. And then if someone has enough information like that, it gives me confidence to order for a cup of coffee. Plus, for me, like at my cafe, I love coffee, so I pay attention to details.
Who takes more part in making a decision to have a type of coffee in these shops? So do you think you're always biased when you're deciding to buy a certain type of coffee?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes when the barista doesn't know what he's talking about, or when I ask like a simple question, where do you source your coffee from, and they don't know, for me that's for example, it's a turn off for me. But again, because I'm a coffee lover, I'm a coffee taker, when I drink coffee, I know this is good coffee, this is, you know, bad coffee. So yeah, I think these are some of the things to look out when you're having a cup of coffee.
I'm saying, what type of coffee do you use in your coffee shop, and why did you decide to go for that coffee?
Oh, okay. So we have our own house blend, but it's majorly Arabica coffee, because Arabica coffee has like, it has many, you know, the texture, the citrus in it. It's not as bitter as Robusta. In my coffee shop, I use Arabica, has that sweetness in it, you know. Again, we love coffee. It depends on who takes the coffee, but for me, I wanted that, you know, sweetness in the coffee, that natural sugar, you know, in the coffee. And Arabica has that sweetness in it, and that's why I use Arabica coffee. Plus, I do the roasting. We roast our own coffee, so we just came up with our blend, and yeah.
Us today on the coffee break, and we look forward to having you on the show some other time so that we can talk more about the coffee business. That's been Ronnie for you guys, and Ibra, Ronnie here say that he has a certain type of coffee that he uses in his coffee shop. Yes. That the type of coffee also like has an influence on someone to buy it in that coffee shop. He talked about the sugars in the coffee.
Yes, yes. Yeah, actually the type of the coffee also plays a part in convincing someone to take that coffee. Okay, this is what I've realized. Most coffees, the way they showcase their uniqueness, attributes, and the flavors, it's like a marketing strategy for this coffee to be bought by a certain client. Yes. Okay, with 80% of coffee in Uganda being Robusta and 20% being Arabica, we're going to come back after this short commercial break, and we shall be talking about the types and differences of these coffees. We shall be right back.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching the Coffee Break on House of Talent TV. Where are you watching us from? Please let us know so that we know where you're watching us from. Are you in Canada? Are you in the USA? Are you down here in Uganda? Let us know where you're watching us from, and we shall make a shout out to you. We thank you a lot for having tuned in to House of Talent TV, and we're still talking more about coffee. We need to know, is Ugandan coffee really this good to be the 8th in the world as the most growing country, and also to be the 2nd in Africa behind Ethiopia? I'm having Ibrahim Chiganda, the senior barrister at World Coffee, speaking more about the benefits and how good Ugandan coffee is. Ibrahim, before we went to a break, we talked about the types of coffee beans or coffee types.
Yeah.
What are the differences between Arabica and Robusta?
Robusta. Well, I'll talk about the country of origin where these coffee types originated. For example, Arabica came from central plateaus of Ethiopia. When you look at Robusta, came from the western and central sub-Saharan Africa.
Hold on. You said Arabica came from Ethiopia,
yes.
Central Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And Ethiopia is the first growing country of Robusta in Africa.
Fast growing?
Because
no,
we are the 2nd behind Ethiopia.
Yes, in terms of producing
Robusta coffee.
Robusta?
Yeah.
It's Arabica. Yeah. I think in terms of production, we are number 2 after Ethiopia. Yes.
Okay, so how can I differentiate that this is a Robusta coffee bean and this is an Arabica coffee bean?
Then an Arabica coffee bean, it's oval. No, it's ovalish and long. A Robusta bean, it's bold and big.
What do you take as the best bean amongst the two? Is it Robusta or Arabica?
Arabica.
Arabica,
yeah.
Why?
Because it's okay. I love Arabica coffee. Yeah.
So let me ask you: if you love Arabica and we're growing 20% of Arabica, or we're producing 20% of Arabica, where's the Robusta going? Is it among these 2.4% export that we make?
Actually, we produce more Robusta and we export more Robusta. So we consume less Robusta.
Why?
I think it's because of its bitter component, as well as, of course, the consumption rate. Very many people are not really so enough informed with coffee. So they know that I'm starting up this kind of coffee just to grow and export. That's all. That's the end.
Well, as we grow in coffee, or as that farmer down in Bukisu, down in Rwenzori, down in Masaka is growing this coffee, how easy is it for him to choose that, let me grow this coffee, let me grow Arabica or let me grow Robusta?
I think it's very easy for him to decide depending on where he is located.
Okay.
A person in Masaka, Luero, those are low altitude areas. So a Robusta coffee will do well in those regions. So a person in Mbale, Kasese, those mountainous areas, yes, you can do Robusta, but it won't give you that much yield compared to the person growing the Robusta in the central.
So speaking about the Erigon region, which is the altitude around 1,800
to 2,200.
Yeah. So which means the longer the altitude, the best the coffee that comes out.
Remember, these are 2 types of coffees that can grow in different environmental conditions. Arabica can survive well in cold places. Those are the mountainous areas. Like the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. The coldness will prolong the growing time for the Arabica, hence maturation of the what? Of the sugars, flavors and everything in the coffee. So the coffee will take long to mature, but you have better quality, like very mature and good coffee.
But if you to set up a coffee shop, which coffee would you decide to use? If you're in Uganda right here.
If I'm in Uganda, actually I will go for both.
Okay, now you're doing a blend, like the CEO of Clear Coffee, Ron Muhumuza, said they do a blend. What happened to doing single origin coffees?
Well, to my own understanding, I think single origin coffees for the people that are into specialty. You really want to get more details about this coffee.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking about specialty, to my understanding, I think specialty is like how we determine the best coffee.
Actually, very many school of thoughts have come in describing or redefining what specialty coffee is. Living along how it scores on the cupping score, like 80, 85, going upwards to 92 or to 100%. Yeah.
Okay, specialty coffee for you who's watching us, if you don't know specialty coffee. Specialty coffee is that type of coffee when it's graded or when it's cupped, it scores 85 and above.
And it must have less or minimum defects.
So the defects you're talking about, if you're taking like this cup of coffee and you taste something that's not good, that's a defect, right?
Defect like earthy, smoky, taints.
For you who's watching us, if you taste your coffee and you feel like, you taste like it's earthy, it's, what's the other term one?
Potato flavor.
That's a defect.
Undesirable flavors or flavors that you get like, this coffee is bad.
This coffee is bad. Read through your comments a little bit on Facebook. We have Saddam who is in Dubai watching us right now. He says, having the best coffee in Uganda makes me proud. And the fact that I am in Dubai, it gives me a mileage so that I'm recognized as a barista who's making the best coffee in Dubai from Uganda. Actually, these people make coffee which is sourced from different areas. They get coffee from Guatemala, Burundi, Rwanda,
Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda.
Which is a bad thing in Uganda because we're only using our coffee. Even the coffee we source from out there is not that good. They give us that premium coffee because we don't want to incur the cost. Is that the reason why? That we don't want to buy the best coffee down here from other regions?
Beg your pardon?
Like, is it because we're not buying this best coffee? Because we all know Brazilian coffee is good, Guatemala coffee is good, Ethiopia coffee is good. But we don't want to buy the best quality of coffee so that we can compare it down here in our coffee shops in Uganda. Is it because it's too expensive? Or we just don't want to incur that cost?
One is, okay, those are foreign coffees. They're very expensive, if I'm to say. Okay, like for our case as Wild, we source, we have foreign coffees. We have coffee from Rwanda, we have coffee from Burundi and Congo. So when you look at this person bringing this coffee close to you, he or she is putting in much. Remember, taxes, those few costs that come in. So by the time a bag is processed, roasted and everything, it's very costly.
All right, Ibra, I want you to look into that camera and tell that farmer right over there, tell that business person right over there, how they should make sure that we are in the top 5. We want to leave the top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah, and
top 3. Top 3.
What they should do to have the best coffee in Uganda and the world at large.
Attention to details when growing, processing the coffee. Yes. Make sure that when you're growing the coffee, give it all the best that you can. Give it manure, prune it, desiccate, like take care of the garden very well. When it comes to harvesting, harvest only the red ripe cherries. Why? You're going to get good quality coffee at the end, and you're going to secure the other unripe coffee so that by the time you finish up with this load, you'll have another coffee to harvest rather than stripping. Then another thing, processing. I would advise farmers in Uganda to do more research or to consult people that are so well informed, experienced with modern or new technologies in coffee. Like I personally, yes, I did biotechnology and I'm not working in this research institutes and all that crap because I really want to cause an impact with this biotechnology knowledge into the coffee industry. For example, processing, the honey processing, fermentation part of it is a very, very key point in processing coffee.
Okay, Ibra, thank you for coming through on the coffee break. It's always a pleasure having you on the coffee break. Well, guys, it's the discussion that we need to carry on our Twitter handle, that's at House of Talent Uganda, and also on our Facebook. Let's keep the engagement coming because we need to make sure that we stay in the top 10. Or we need to go in the top 5. We're already in the top 10.
Top 3. Why am I saying top 3? Because as I was watching those World Barista competitions, there is a guy who came to Uganda, CP Falls, and sourced Ugandan coffee, and he used it in the World Barista competition.
Wow, you can imagine how our coffee is going far and wide, worldwide. That's why we are ranked as number 8. Well, guys, we thank you for having joined us today on the House of Talent television. This has been the coffee break, and my name is Amon Mukisa. I'll be seeing you next weekend. Have a nice weekend.
What can the men do, okay, to promote women's sports or basketball for that matter?
Yes, so today morning, someone told me, he made research, actually my brother, that these days the NBA actually facilitates the WNBA games to see that they're also somewhere. How about the NBL men starts doing something, not totally like investing in and all that, but it can be with the support system. It can be one very good thing, seeing that creating more opportunities for these ladies, putting up different games like, so as like women can be like seen or showing that these guys also like care. It can start with support, and then with time they can also like recommend whoever facilitates them to like partially have his thoughts somewhere on the women's team, so that like they can all go about like together in solidarity. I think that can work. I don't know, I don't think it's something big. It can start with support and then financially with time, yeah.
And now DIT, that's the reason why DIT is coming in, because we've tried to create this awareness that the designers or the tailors must be supported in this industry, and also other stakeholders, because being a fashion president, I'm not just talking about designers being a designer, but all the industry I'm talking about, the people who supply us machines. We have Kiembe people, Kiembe sewing machines. We have the people supplying us with fabrics. We have people teaching. We need journalists, people who can talk right about fashion, present nice pictures, not the pictures that people aim at, you know, taking knickers for the models. Yeah. That's not what we are looking at. We are trying to address it nicely and properly. Yeah. So the reason why I'm doing that, abantu basobola okwekkiririza that guno mulimu gwa bei. DIT has already assessed us and many other centers that have been put outside there for people, the tailors who are already skilled, to go and be assessed so they can be accredited. If you have good thoughts, maybe you have a birowozi you want to table in the parliament, you can as well be able to stand as a parliamentary, as an MP. You get a point. But before, you know, like minimizing. When you fail exams, try okutunga. It's not for failures. This is for really genuine people with brains, because there's a lot of mathematics, there's so much geometry, statistics in clothing. Come on, you cannot fail elsewhere and think you're going to try it. You try it this side. Yeah.
Welcome to the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila on this fine particular day where we get to discuss, you know, the performing arts in Uganda, all across Africa, and of course looking into the new Africa-France relationship. What does it really mean to the performing art? Of course, we are going through, you know, the series of discussing the new French relationship with Africa, or the new Africa-French relationship. I don't know which one the other one makes sense, but yes. And of course, to join me in this discussion this morning is a resident panelist. He was here last week. He broke quite a number of things down for those of you who are creative and in the creative art industry. Faizo Chiwewa is the founder and artistic director of Bayimba Cultural Foundation, straight out of Kampala to the rest of the world. Is the foundation doing great stuff. You know Bayimba for many of the festivals they've been holding all these years. And of course, Faizo is more qualified to be part of this conversation. Faizo, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yes, and good to have you here. You traveled from the island back to Kampala this morning. You ran into some very interesting things with the policeman controlling traffic. You are the one driving. How did that go?
No, it was good. You know, things you do for friends, just to get on the show.
You are trying to be creative with the...
No, actually, you know how it is with the morning traffic on Mokono, Ginger Road.
Yes.
It's really busy. And then I was trying to be here on time, but, you know, I didn't manage. But anyway, I'm here.
Well, welcome back to the program. Thanks. We want to start the program from a very interesting point of view, Faizo. I mean, we are on the series of discussing the new Africa France relationship? What does it really mean from the creative art industry? And this time round, we are looking at the performing arts. Performing arts, many of you made it to Montpellier, for that conference 2021 summit, and many of the people who are there are people who we believe were representing our own interest. But particularly, what does this relationship mean to people who are in the performing arts industry? I mean, you are a programmer.
I mean, as we talked about it last week, it's really very important that we look at the relation as a meant to be two-way, not to be like, okay, we are all looking up to France as the bread giver, but we also have to start baking our own bread and maybe build some bakeries. And this is where I think the relationship is really about offering the opportunities for us, the programmers, and not only in Uganda, but the rest of the continent. And as we said last time, that really the idea of opening it up to the Anglophone Africa is a very good opportunity to kind of balance the investment that the French have done in the past. In one way, one would say that it has been a guilt initiative because of what has happened in the past by the French. But at the same time, I think for me as a person and as a programmer, I don't see the bad intentions of what the French government now is trying to do, because to be honest, they have their share of problems as well. But if they look at Africa as a way of engaging with the young people and investing in those young people, I think we should give them some credit. And I think for us as programmers, it's really a good opportunity that we are going to be able to engage at a kind of a leveled ground with the rest of the programmers from the French-speaking countries.
Okay. Talking of that, Faisal, Ugandan art, of course, have been at the forefront of coming up with new things, and we're discussing the emerging and the rising influence of the African art on the global stage and recognition that is coming along with it. What does this really mean from this relationship going forward? Do you think that we're headed to something good? Are we being given the right due, recognition that we need, or the world is just giving us, they say, oh, it's nice, it's good, good, but we're not good. Are we really good that we can now compete on the global stage?
I mean, we've been working. When you look at the history of the performing arts here in Uganda, it's had its Himalaya kind of process, like up and downs, and this was due to some of the challenges. Some were political, some were social, some have been economical, but also I think technical in a way. That most of the challenges we've faced are because our peers are not technically capacitated to take the industry ahead, and most of the people are really they find themselves by chance or by effort to be artists or musicians, and they don't have the technical knowledge or the technical skills that they need to be better. They learn along the way, because we've seen some success stories, and some of the people who are really making an effort to do better, to be at the level where they should be, or better than what they should be. And but when you look at the history, that the performing arts were good in the 70s, in the 60s, and of course during the war between the late 70s and early 2000 or early 19s, there was nothing much going on, because we are kind of in a very unstable environment. A lot of people lost their interest in the arts, and they moved on to other things, or they migrated. As it's the same thing now, we could see with COVID, most of the people that have been locked down for 2 years, just within this period of 2 years, they have kind of migrated to other avenues, because they could not survive this lockdown and the idea that they have no opportunity to do performances. So the same thing, I think, will be happening in the near future. If we want to present art to the French market, to the French audience, what are we going to deliver? And I think that's a question of not only we, the programmers, because we just program content. I'm also always looking out for good content. If it's not good, I don't program it. So if there is no content because people have left the industry to other things because of the situation as we've all experienced it, what are we going to do? And as going back to our conversation last week is to see that we can, now we know the opportunities are there. Can we start working towards preparing ourselves to be able, when the opportunity arises, that we are able to deliver the content that is needed to be.
Wow. So do you think that the artist, the performing art, talents are working towards this? Do they understand what this relationship means? Do they understand what France is talking about? Are we taking advantage of this conversation to say, hey, wait, there's now a new market open for us here, new market open in the Francophone countries that we need to be able to take advantage of. We need to be able to start working and preparing the content to actually speak across these boundaries that we were not doing before. Do you see the sense of that?
Yes, you'll be very surprised. Not necessarily for the French, I would say. I don't think everyone now I know working on something is because of they are aware of the new relation between France and Africa. I think not so many people know. They heard about, if they did hear about, they heard about the conference, they heard about who went there, but they don't know what came out of it. And it's not really yet public. The information of the outcome is not yet in the public domains. So what is happening here, you will be actually surprised that there is a lot of effort going in creating content. There are so many people doing a lot of stuff here, amazing stuff, and you'll be surprised that in the near future, I think this environment, this COVID situation has offered an opportunity to so many creative entrepreneurs, creative artists, not all art forms, but at least the theater has been very much marginalized in that case. But when you look at film, music, when you look at fashion, when you look at, new media art forms like visual arts, and there's a lot of stuff that guys have been creating. So we are very happy and we are very lucky that people have not really taken their time to not do anything, but they have really created stuff. And I'm also surprised to see that even contemporary dancers are going back to the studio to start working. Theater is also starting to pick up, but they're very much online. So there's a lot of content. I'm not really worried about that. I think what I'm worried about is the process of knowing how to go about engaging with other Francophonic people.
Okay. Sometimes, Faisal, when we create content like this, the content is created for a very small niche market that doesn't cut across the wider perspective of the market. And so if this new relationship that France is talking about is open, it means that new opportunity for the performing arts in Uganda, in Kenya, in East Africa, in West Africa, in North Africa, and in Central Africa to now start cross-culturally bringing their art form together from the Anglophone countries to the Francophone countries. We're now not just doing, this is Francophone, everything is about the French-speaking people, and then if you don't speak French, it's up to you. And then it's about the English-speaking people, and if you don't speak English, it's really up about you. That's how things have been going on. But I think that ice is being broken right now. So do you think that we understand the importance of this and we are beginning to create content in line with this relationship or not? And what should be done from the programmer's point of view?
But I think if you really look at the trend of content creation here, you realize that there are those that have already transcended this smaller market that we are looking at. Because to be honest, Uganda is not a market for theater. Okay, maybe downtown theater, but when you go to the uptown theater, there's no market for it. So where do entrepreneurs or artists or creators in theater look for? They go to the Sundance. They go to the Sinophonic countries, that is the Chinese, the Asian-speaking countries. They go to the Lusophone, to the Francophone. They look at the Anglo. They don't look at very much, of course, the Anglophone, but they really trying to tap into. When you go to the Sinophonic countries, all the Asian countries, you'll be surprised to see how many Ugandans are there. And one time I was very surprised to find a group of friends who were doing traditional dance, this Baksimba, touring China for 6 months, non-stop, like 350 shows. I was like, how do you guys and they are there? So content has been transcending. It's just that sometimes people are in a certain environment and they are not giving others an opportunity.
Yeah.
Or to get to know about it and to tap into it. And that's also, I wouldn't call it you know, an issue for many, but I think it would be a good opportunity. If someone knows that there is a market for content here, you could invite others to tap into it. So that's maybe what is a little bit lacking. But really, there is a very good, interesting, you know, diversification of distribution of content here. And many people really want to sell their content because they know they are not going to sell here. Even if they make, even the filmmakers, they're making film, they sell them to South Africa. They're writing scripts, they want to go to Sundance because that's where they know that content is understood, content is appreciated, content is from its raw perspective. Sometimes people, when they see a film, they just see a film. They don't look at the process. They don't really imagine the process. So if you are part of this, you know, understanding, trying to figure out how to deliver something to the market, and you don't know who is able, or people are not able to understand the process, then you have to go to those who understand it. And that's why you find most Ugandans are now, and I'll say this again, I always find it very sad to see that so many Ugandans have disappeared to Europe and America. People who would be great artists here, they have disappeared, you know, and they are living there. Of course, some of them are continuing their careers, others are not because of, you know, the situation, different environments. But it would be really, really sad to see that many more young people are moving out of the country to go and perform in Europe and America and Asia because there's nothing they can do here. So that content, if it was produced here and developed here and distributed from here, it would give us also a boost in our own content development.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Faisal. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Faisal and I will return discussing something around about the understanding of the relationship between France and Africa. The new relationship, what does it mean? We're breaking down the performing arts. When we talk about the performing arts, you know, market or, you know, industry, what does it really mean? Who fits where? What is it? What does it mean? Because we're talking about this thing as a blanket statement, but you're going to find some people are still lost, don't know what to do. But also, we will talk about, you know, this new Africa-France relationship. What does it mean? Is it making sense to most people who are actually in this industry? Do they understand what we're talking about? As the French people also done, the French government done much to actually come out to, you know, further this discussion. How has it been received from the African countries' perspective? Do the African leaders understand this? Are they seeing it as a way of making, you know, creating this industry to collaborate, or they're seeing it as a way of political gain, you know?
But also to add on to that, I think also we need to understand that when we talk about France, we're not talking only about France, the country, but France also has its territories, you know, like Reunion, Dominican, whatever, all these French-speaking under the, you know, they call them territories. They're still under France, and they have like next, I think early next month, I'll be going to a French territory, which is in the Indian Ocean. So you find that there are also other opportunities. Let's not only look at Paris.
Because it's open up for everyone, and of course we want to come back and have the discussion. So you want to, you know, be part of this conversation. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela, Faisal Chiwewa, and we'll be right back after this break.
Bubu that cannot stand on its own. Bubu must stand on a foundation of self-love. Now, by the time you start saying, buy this our own, it makes sense when you already love yourself. But we seem to have a country, and so they already had that foundation. The Nigerians are proud of themselves. If you ever interacted with any Nigerians, you'll be amazed. Nigerians, I've met Nigerians at airports, and they can be 4 Nigerians, and you'll think they are 50 Nigerians. There's this attitude they take that wherever we are, we must own that space. And we must own that space without apology.
Yes.
And let the world notice that we are
there.
We are present.
Yes.
So and you've seen the same attitude in Americans.
Yeah.
From their movies projected through so many things, through so much content, from the branding, from clothing to movies to music. So in a way, when you get exposed to that attitude long enough, you start to move your mindset towards them. So unless it's like a magnetic force of sorts. So we don't have our own magnetic force, and we spend too much time on negativity around ourselves. I think before we even preach Bubu, we need to have a campaign around self-love to reduce the negativity. Every time we see each other doing something amazing, Eddie has just done this, but he's not doing this other thing. But this other thing is lacking in his thing. Instead of focusing on the good stuff he has done, that's what those people are doing. Even the bad stuff is there. But how often do you see, for example, there are street people in America. The whole world knows. Right in California, in the biggest economy among the U.S. states, there are street people. There's those areas in Hollywood, I think, called Skid Row, where the street people are not any different from our street.
They're even worse than ours. And these hours here are better. We have food. There is very difficult.
You go. But they keep away from that. They even try as much as possible to keep cameras away. It's only the internet today because that is enabling us to see those things. But these have been there for so many years. How much attention have we given to Hollywood content? But we've never seen all of that. So I think for Bubu to make sense, and for Bubu, it needs to stand on the foundation of self-love. We need a campaign around loving ourselves and reducing the negativity, and then we can talk Bubu.
Welcome back from that break. This is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela, and of course in the studio is Faizo Chiwewa from the Bayimba Cultural Foundation, and we are discussing the New Africa-France relationship. What does it mean? There's a conference that happened in 2021 in Montpellier, and Ugandans attended that. Many Africans, 3,000 people from African continent attended that. And of course the New Africa-France Summit, what does it really mean for Uganda's creative industry, particularly in performing arts industry? What does it mean? Are we taking advantage of that? And of course, we're hosting Faizo today, and as a resident panelist to discuss this. Faizo, welcome back to the program. Before we went for a break, we were breaking the, are we ready for this new relationship going forward? Is our content being prepared towards that direction? We want to tackle this a little bit more. The French may have talked about this, and at the point where we were going into a break, you talked about the territory is not Paris. It's not just Paris. It extended to where the French, the Francophone, territories, so to speak. Colonies, where people are speaking French, and it is a language. And I've been meeting people from Guadalupe, I've been meeting people from different other places, the islands, and everybody's talking about this is a good place for us, a good start for us. But I want to just pick your mind from the person who attended the conference, the summit in Montpellier. The African presidents were not invited, but the young people from Africa were invited. And we know very well from the African perspective that sometimes we focus a little bit more on politics than the content that comes with. What was the sense? Do you think rather that the African president will support their own creative arts industry towards this?
They don't have a stake in it. I think, I don't do politics, I'm never interested in the game. But I also know that when it comes to these kind of initiatives, the governments the government's role is very limited. It's only them doing what they are supposed to do or what they should have been doing already, like making sure that the regulations are good, copyright is implemented, and intellectual property is protected. You know, these are the government responsibilities, but they have no stake in the implementation of a partnership. If I want to do a collaboration with a French producer or a French artist, I can contact them on email, and if there is any opportunity for support from the French embassy or the French government or FD, that's our conversation. The government has no stake in it. I think here, for me, what I would like to emphasize on is to see how do we identify the territories, the areas that we can engage in as performing artists or producers or programmers. I think when we talk about the performing arts, as you say, that it's not only music, it's not only theater, but there are so many other things. And how do we know that within France or its territories, there are opportunities for all these different art forms? Which areas support what kind of art forms? Because France is diverse, and also with its territories, but there is a lot of areas that are more known for different things. For example, if you want to do like a market, you know, there is a Midem, which is like Doa Doa. It's one of the biggest French music market. And do people know about Midem? Do Ugandan musicians know about Midem? Or they might have heard of Doa Doa, but do they know that there is a bigger Midem? Now that there is an opportunity for this exchange and say, how can we start preparing our musicians to be able to showcase at Midem? Because it's an opportunity, and now they have even opened the African version of Midem, which has been running online for 2 years. So there is that opportunity of us identifying where can we go, where can we take our content. There is Babalmed in Marseille. It's also a big market that also takes care of performing arts artists from Africa. Joel has performed there. He has had opportunities.
This is Joel Sabunja.
Joel Sabunja has been there. So it's these are some of the areas. Then when we go to theater, there are theater festivals. There are installation, video mapping, events and festivals. There are so many fashion shows. Paris or France is known for fashion. How can we work with people like Stella Tar to start really, because she was there, she knows where to talk to, how to engage. She's in the fashion industry. How can we start tapping into that connection and relation and start building our fashion designers to start showcasing more in France? So these are the things I think we need to start cultivating and making sure that our artists, our performing industry is aware of these opportunities. But most of the time, when you talk about these opportunities of performing arts, so people mostly think about music, performing in a club or performing at... No, we need to go deeper and also trying to discover new forms of art, because France has a lot of new forms of art. There are so many initiatives that come from there. How can we make sure that our artists are prepared to tap into those opportunities and also widen their scope and know that if you're talking about theater and festivals and then there are so many big festivals of theater in France, and not only in France but also in the rest of Europe, where people are being awarded each year with lots of money, with lots of good productions. How can we know, how can they get to know about this, so that they only don't look at the Anglophone countries?
Okay. Talking of that, Faisal, you bring a very good perspective to it. And I actually want some people, if you're out there and watching this video, we want to hear from you. If you're performing arts, talent, please share with us your thoughts, your understanding of this new relationship. Do you understand what it means? Do you know what is expected of you to be able to be on the same stage with a French artist or performing art person? Do you understand from a French speaking countries artists performing art from that area? Do you understand what they are doing to meet the expectations of the Anglophone speaking countries in Africa? Do you understand what is expected of you? Faisal, talking of that, it appears that many of our conversation here normally are not looking at crossing the border. We tend to be very comfortable at home here, and so some things come and pass us by. Some things comes like they announce this, and you find Ugandans are still not aware of this. And a few people like Faisal, like Peter, like Paul Charles Rukundo, and a few people like Divine Nabawesi, these are the guys who are more outspoken, outgoing, and looking for these things, like the Bobby Ogwal of this world, the people who went, and people who are opening up to these things. But when they come back, do they have this conversation with these people, with the Ugandans? Do Ugandans know this, or we are comfortable doing our things locally here and, you know, everything else?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I speak for myself.
But you're a programmer. You interact with people who are in the writing industry, people who are in the theater industry, people who are in you know, the drama industry. I mean, a lot of us are doing things locally, and we seem to be comfortable. I don't see much of it going outside.
I think it's sometimes the excitement level. I mean, I had it as well.
Yeah.
Not the non-sharing, but
Yes,
you know, at the beginning, I think 15 years ago, when I just started traveling, I was always excited to show myself at the airport and take a selfie in the plane and then send it to whatever. I don't do that anymore. I think it's more like now I know I go somewhere because of a reason, and I'm always interested in going somewhere where I either add value or I'm getting something from there. These two things are very important, and that's why I'm always encouraging a two-way, or at least be contributive. Because for me, most of the time, if you want to go somewhere and you really don't have a reason why you're going there, then you're wasting your time and people's money. So it's important that maybe not, but sometimes is that why people don't talk about things, because they are overwhelmed by the environment that they get themselves into, and they are not aware of how to deal with it. It's something that we all have to learn, because even me, it took me some time to know, if I go to Womex, what am I expected of? Why am I there? You know, and what am I going to get back? And what is worth my investment? And when we talk about investment, we're not talking about only the money we put in the tickets, but we're also talking about the time. You know, it's an investment. That opportunity cost is very important for the work that we are doing. So if people are not yet, they don't get used to this getting on the plane and off, and then once you get used to that, then you can start focusing on what you're meant to do. But if you fly once a year, it's going to be difficult to get over it. But if you're flying every 2 weeks, then you'll be like, come on, why am I coming there? You know, so this is what this is the difference, and it's very honest. You know, it's very honest that if people are not used to this, being with different people, getting to know different spaces and getting exposed to different areas, then it's difficult for them to go somewhere where they have a reason. And I'm lucky, we are lucky these days that COVID has helped us, because so many times people used to travel to go to a workshop. I'm going to blah, blah, blah for a workshop on human rights. I'm going to go to that. And then they reach there, they go shopping, you ask them, what did you learn? Nothing. And it's because now that they realize, okay, we can do so much online, and we are also learning to also program things online. So it's a whole different conversation. Maybe now we can start bringing things back. But I think for me, what is important is that wherever you want to go, wherever you're going, it's important to know, what are you going to give? What are you contributing to that place, to that environment, to that space, to that meeting that you're going to, and what are you going to bring back? And that will give us some kind of value in terms of making people understand that when you come back home and there's something that you've learned, you can share it with others.
Wow. Well, I mean, we're talking about the new Africa-France relationship, the summit. I want Tim to just put it up there so that I can take you through this a little bit more, and that's what Pfizer is talking about. The new Africa-France relationship 2021 means a lot. What does it necessarily mean to, you know, for Uganda's creative industry in the performing arts, you know? And we're talking to Pfizer Chiwewa from the Bayimba Foundations, fresh from that Montpellier, you know, summit in France. And well, a lot of things were discussed on that stage. They're now saying we are open to come, open for you to come and, you know, showcase your art here. We want to do this now on an equal time and equal measures. It means that a Ugandan can go to France and showcase. Africans now, you know, operate with the Francophone countries, you know, or territories at an equal opportunity measure. As to whether it's going to be a reality, it's really time will tell. But are we preparing to go there? And you know, something that Faisal has been talking about here, very important. If you are used to boarding a plane once or twice, you know, your experience is not as good as an artist or a performing artist from the Francophone countries who are always boarding the plane. They don't go to take selfies. They go to do things at a different level. Faisal, that said, I want to come back to you for a moment. How do we get Ugandans, particularly from where we sit, you know, to start looking at this from beyond the selfies, beyond appearing in Paris and running around? I mean, I get the sense that of the 3,000 people who went to France, very few of them actually engaged themselves to discuss serious business. Most of them were running, for the first time, they were stuck and running to enter. Just the trend wowed so many of them and took away the attention from the business and the opportunity that could have presented itself to them. And many of them were spending a lot more time for tourism purposes as opposed to trying to meet the new, you know, minister here or meet the new talent manager there from West Africa to crack the business so that they can board the plane a little bit more, you know, because this was paid for by the French government. It might not come back again for the next time. But how do we help our people here to know that when you get opportunity to go there, don't just go for selfies. No, it's a one chance given to you. Use it.
But I think, you know, to be honest, we all they call it amalo. You know? Yes. Now, and even me myself, I mean, I travel a lot, but sometimes if I go to a city like Paris, I'm like, oh, let me go to the Louvre, let me go to see the, you know, the park, or let me go to see the Eiffel Tower. It's something we do, but you do it when you've at least done something that is meaningful, or you're going to do something that is meaningful for the purpose that you're there. You know, you're not invited for tourism. You're invited for a certain reason, and not everyone that is invited is going to make meaning to the contribution or to contribute to the conversation that is going on. Maybe you're invited as a spectator and that's your role, but how do you know how to navigate that? It's a process, to be honest, and it really needs someone to be aware of how to network, how to speak to people, how to pitch your works, how to engage with, you know, with people, and also how to do your background research. You know, who is there? You know, if you're going in a conference hall where there are 3,000 people, where do you start from if you don't know who is there? You get what I mean? So you have to know, like, okay, if there so and so is there, Faisal is there, Eddie is there, what does Eddie do? Maybe we have some similar interests. I met so many young people from Africa who are doing stuff. There was a guy who was working in Burkina Faso and he's doing recycling shoes. I'm like, what do you mean you recycle shoes? I'm like, you know, when your shoe is broken, you give it to me, I repair it, I design it differently, and I sell it back to you. I'm like, that's really cool. You know, and he was getting gigs. He was getting a lot of gigs. And there were like all these young fashion designers, all these young creative, you know, entrepreneurs doing software, you know, games and all that stuff. And I'm like, there is a lot of workforce, there is a lot of human capital that is coming up in this on this continent. But I think for me, what is really important, whenever I travel, and it's not always, but most of the time when I travel, I like to admire. And when I look at something and I like it, I try to imagine it if I can do it. In my area of business, not in road construction or architecture, whatever, but when I see a good performance, when I see a good art form, when I see, I imagine it being here. That's why over the 10 years, we've managed to create new forms of art here that people are thinking like, oh, that's impossible, like video mapping, street theater, you know, like sound art, you know, these kind of things that people have never, you go to a space and you find an artist has, you know, created something that is unimaginable and be like, how do they come up with this? How can I get this guy to teach some of my colleagues in Uganda? And that's why every time we have a new form of art that we are introducing, we invite like 10 to 15 people. But at the back of my mind, I know one or two will pick it up. Not everyone will like it or understand it. So I think if we I don't know how they call it like okwegomba. I don't know how it's in English. I like to
go out there, look at things, imagine
and I admire them, and I'm like, I admire them and
see if you can come and do them here.
Yeah, it's the whole force that keeps me moving, because I know most of the things I like are not possible now. But I work towards that. And that's why I'm investing in my own space, you know, whereby we will soon be having our own Bayimba Center, where we have invested brick by brick, you know, dollar by dollar, shilling by shilling on our own. Because I know that when you go to all these spaces in Paris and you find all these big museums, big theaters, in New York and Venice, wherever you go, do we ask ourselves, who built these buildings? Do we know how these buildings came to exist? Some of them were not even government buildings. They were by individuals from their own effort. And maybe later on, 50, 100 years later on, the government finds interest in them and starts taking care of them and opening them up to the public. So what are we contributing to the future of our spaces? We cannot start only thinking around tomorrow, today, and I find that a very big problem. Yeah. We need to start thinking further. We need to start thinking what is going to happen 100 years from now. What are we going to show? Are we just going to show all these, small, unthought buildings around the city? There's nothing creative about it. But if we had the idea of admiring what other people have, and for me, it's very, very important. And I tell my colleagues, even my donors, don't tell me about space that we don't need space. We do need space from ground zero, and everywhere. But we, the people in the industry, have to learn to admire those spaces and create our own spaces that will be representing our country, our spaces, our art forms in the future. Yeah. So the issue of admiring is very, very important. When you have a chance to go to other places, look around and see. And just imagine yourself being part of this new initiation in your own country. Yeah. How would that be?
Well, we're going to take a break. Pfizer is spitting fire right now that when you fly out, you must be able to imagine things on a bigger stage and a bigger scale. And of course, we're talking about the new Africa-France relationship, the summit that happened in 2021. What does it really mean to the creative industry in Uganda, particularly this week, today? We're talking about the performing arts industry. Are we taking advantage of it? Do we know much about it? Are we beginning to prepare our work towards that? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Creative Industry Talk will tackle the final part of the show. We'll be discussing how do we take the advantage of this relationship to showcase our art, and Pfizer will be sharing a few more as we close the show. So that I'll be right back after the break.
France is happy, joyful, and proud to be France. That's the first thing we can learn from France.
Yeah.
France knows all about France. France celebrates France. France celebrates its history, its cuisine, its language, its music, its culture. Mm-hmm. So when we want to have a conversation with France, it helps if we also come from a point of celebrating our history, our culture, our heritage, our food, then we can have it. Because the conversation involves exchange.
Yes.
So we have to have something to bring forward. And if we don't yet understand ourselves fully, if we don't yet celebrate ourselves fully, it's difficult to begin to share what
It is a Creative Industry Talk. Welcome back to the program. My name is Eddie Okela, and we're discussing the new Africa-France relationship. What does it really mean? This new relationship with Africa, what does it really mean to the creative industry? Particularly the performing arts is what we're discussing today. Why have we focused series on this Creative Industry Talk, talking about the meaning of this new relationship to the creative arts industry in Uganda and across Africa? It's because creativity is at the core of everything we do. Every time we wake up in the morning, we're talking about creative ways of how do we sell this product? How do we get product A to the market? How do we get product B to the market? How do we attract other people to come and sell our culture to them so that we can make money? You know, it's all about creativity. No one wakes up in the morning and do not know what to do creatively to attract money to them. Value is attracted to where there is value. And of course, Faisal is with me on the program today discussing that. And Faisal, welcome back to the program. Yeah. We are talking about, you know, how do we help Africans to, you know, start beginning to take advantage of this, think beyond this. You have been going across the world, you know, as a festival programmer. You, first of all, we want to break down, you know, the different forms of arts under the performing arts, sector. And then you have been going around the world, you know, doing and performing and, you know, creating platform for people to perform as a programmer. What are the processes that you go through when you're picking and selecting that person to go there? And what kind of form of art do you take there? Yeah. I mean, we could be talking like this and many people actually don't know that they need to prepare themselves towards putting themselves out so that they can now begin to interact with some of this new relationship that we're talking about. Yeah, I think when you to do the kind of work that like I do, you need to educate yourself. We are unfortunate that we don't have a school of arts management here in this country, and I don't think anywhere in East Africa. Yeah. So it's very difficult for someone to understand the scope of the work that we do. But if you want to learn, if anyone who is a programmer out there and who wants to really engage in these theories of learning to do things differently, you have to, study. Like, I think the bottom line, the basis of this business is really to study culture economics. When you study culture economics, you will understand the process of understanding culture. It's a very public, good kind of approach. Yeah. You put yourself there as a sacrifice. The way our president said, he sacrificed his hand and kept this to himself. Yes. You know, so you also have it is serious. You have to understand that when you learn culture economics, you understand the basics of arts management, the basics of programming. So when you do that, then you understand that when you put yourself into this job, you are sacrificing yourself for the better good of the rest of the industry. Yeah. And that means that you're going to put your interests aside, and that's what many people don't understand, and put the interests of the industry to be your first priorities. Yeah. When people ask me, why are you always working? Because I decided to make 99% of my time to work. And I decided not to be an artist because I realized that if I am an artist and I want to be an arts manager, I'll not be able to do the same. I put my 99% of the time in my work, and then the rest 1% I share it with the people next to me. So it's a difficult situation, and this is where it starts from. So you understand that the business is a public good. You have to. When you do that, then you can start looking at things. What do you do if you're a public servant? You work for the people. The people are your bosses. And if you are in a position like ours where you're supposed to kind of define the future of your own effort, then you'll start to understand that going out there, if you have the opportunity of going out there to see people and admiring their work and bring it down to your people, to share it with, to collaborate, to network, to connect with the rest of the world, it becomes a normal thing to do. Yeah. Because you already understand why you are doing it. Yeah. So for me, I think when it comes to these all relations, when it comes to this understanding of the performing arts, as wide as there are so many, But the thing is that, do we even understand our own subsectors of the performing arts? So if you're doing theater, how best do you understand theater? If you do not understand theater that much, but you're doing it, are you helping yourself to study? What kind of learning are you doing? So it's really about people also making an effort to educate themselves, making an effort to find out what is happening within their own territory, within their own area, and also trying to invest in themselves. People don't like to invest in themselves. They can invest, they think finding transport and lunch to go to a rehearsal is the only way to invest in yourself. But educating yourself and also
trying to figure out, finding opportunities is a very good way of educating yourself.
Okay.
And I always ask people, like, if you spend at least, 2 hours on Facebook and Twitter, why don't you invest that time in learning about your industry, about where you are and how you can better yourself? So it's really about learning. The performing arts are wide, there are so many, but people really can only benefit from them if they understand better and they can open their minds to make sure that they're only not looking at what they are, where they are, but they're also checking out to figure out what is happening around the world. And if you understand what is happening around the world, it helps you to kind of speed up your own process of developing yourself and doing better.
Okay. Faisal, would you share with us one thing that is very key as we wind up the show? Break down the performing arts. What are the different subsectors under the performing arts that we need to know? Because when you're talking about performing arts, some people may not even know that they're in the performing arts. Maybe they're in the wrong sector of it. Maybe they need to move to the next sector of it. Maybe they don't know. Maybe I'm there attracted because this is what is paying my bill right now. But perhaps my quality, my gifting is really into writing. And if I write, I make other people really look good. Therefore, I need to spend time writing and actually focused on the writing, and then I use this new Africa-French relationship that they're talking about, that Africa now is more open, to begin to seek opportunity to write for other people, cross-border writing, so that my script can go out, then I can begin to travel across the world, as opposed to being a writer and at the same time I want to be a performer, and at the same time so can you break that for us?
No, I think, of course, you can be a writer and a performer, but okay, breaking it down, like in performing arts, we have music, we have dance, and dance is also divided. There's urban dance, there's traditional dance, there's folk dance, there is contemporary dance, and then we have theater, which we have traditional theater, like community theater. Then we have the high-end theater, and then also we have like dance theater, which is more like you find the ballet contemporary performances of like the Nutcracker and all these Mary Poppins and stuff like that. Then we have fashion is a performing art. Even though someone thinking, I sit down, I'm not performing, but you create a piece and then you put it on stage for people to catwalk on it. That's the performance. Writing, creative writing, because when you're writing, you don't write for yourself only, but you're writing for people to read and to act or to recreate. We have poetry. We have so I mean, there's a lot. We have video mapping. It's a performance, and sometimes you might think because it's visual and video, you think it's a visual art. No, but it's a performance because video mapping has become more interactive now, and it has become kind of like an engagement between a space and the people. So, and I really like to explore this, and this is something I'm really cultivating with my team. I want to start a festival for video mapping, like light up this whole city and with different concepts and designs and stories, and but it's a very expensive art form, to be honest. And then what else is there? Street theater. There is and there's a difference between theater in a theater and a street theater. When I introduced street theater here, I think 12 years ago, people thought that but it's a very mature way of acting, because you don't have a script, you don't have anything, you're kind of reacting to. You can have a thought or a theme in your head, but then you're kind of reacting to a space, to the situation. So you are spontaneously engaging with people and stuff like that. So the performing arts are wide, and they're really a lot.
Now, just give us a few. You've talked about quite a varied number of the performing arts subsectors under that. We want to just break it down. Do we have some of these form of arts in Uganda that are known? Because we might find that we're skewed to a very few of them, and we don't know really many of them that are quite very important that could take advantage of. Now that we're talking about, Africa being open to the Francophones, and the Francophone countries being open to the Africa.
I think the challenge with some of the art forms, they're quite expensive and exhausting. When you talk about like video mapping, I mean, if you're a video mapping artist in Uganda, where would you get a job? He's going to give you a gig, you know? So you are in it for
that's why I was saying the New Africa France is open for this
I think,
year.
and also if you're a video artist here, you really, I mean, it will be really hard for you to get a gig in France or Europe because they are at a whole different level when it comes to mind, when it comes to skills, when it comes to software, because all these things work with software. Every time there's a new software, there's a new, it's like being on these apps that people use all the time. Everything, all the time there's something new. And how do you keep up with that? So some art forms would be really difficult for some of the Ugandan artists. And it doesn't mean that it's easy for the European or the Americans. It's also difficult for them, but what happens with them is that first of all, they have the knowledge, they have schools where they go to learn this, and it's recognized, which means that when they come out of those schools, they are respected because they learn that form of art. And then when they go out in the market and they don't have gigs, there is a system that helps them to survive. They are given some, you know, capital or money to survive on, even if they don't have a gig. When they get a gig, they can declare that they got a gig, and then they don't have to claim money from the state. So
gig being business in
So if there is that, if there was a system like that, and imagine Eddie or young people who are, and every year there's also these opportunities, like every year there's a lights festival, there is a video mapping festival, there's a, you know, all these street theater festivals. So it means that someone is working, even though they know they are not going to get paid all the time, but they know at the end of the year there is something they look up to. And that gives them the motivation to create that kind of content. But if there is no opportunity, there is no platform for them to show their work, then it becomes difficult for them to be motivated.
That's
to
why
sell it where.
That's why now we're saying the New Africa relationship
but
is opening that room for us to now go and say,
course.
go land, go open up.
Of course it opens up, but also we have to understand that we need to start working harder to level the ground, to start competing with the content, because also the French artists, they also need gigs. So you're not going to come from here and start stepping on their toes because I'm coming from Uganda and this is where I saw the opportunity. They'll kick you out. So what is important is to work on merit, to work on your betterment or your development of your skill. So how do we develop our skills? How do we also start offering opportunity? We are not only looking at taking our artists to France, but we're also looking at bringing the artists to Uganda, the French artists. So for me, what is actually more useful, and this is what I've been doing over these years, is that when I see an art form or an artist and he's good, I bring them to my festival. For the reason, because I know taking one artist from here to France would cost me much more money, and maybe that person will just go and take selfies. But if I bring the other artists here, no, serious. If I bring the other artists here, then there is an opportunity for that artist to be seen by a wider number of other artists. And maybe from those, they will start looking, how did he do that? You know, look at the difference with Maurice Kiria. The Maurice Kiria of 10 years and the Maurice Kiria now is at a whole different league.
Talking of
look
it, he was performing in Netherlands recently, and the place was packed.
No, look at GNL.
They seem to understand his music more.
GNL has been good since he started his music, and now he's at a whole different level. Exposure, interacting, collaborating, looking at others and how they're doing things, and being in a space that supports the industry that he is in. So we have to look at what do we do as a people in our positions to admire what others have done for their industries, and then that will give us the opportunity to start nurturing our own industries. But if we only look at problems and money here, pressuring people for support when you know they can't give it to you, but you just need to also work on yourself, be able to deliver and create the work that can take you to another level. And that comes with admiring others.
So it's basically what you're saying, Faizo, in summary, is that yes, the New Africa-France relationship is there, but it's not going to be a silver plate platter. I mean, it is still possible that people who are coming from France can take advantage of you because you don't know it and still tell your story their way, and there's no problem with it because it's open now for everyone to do. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Wow, Faisal, thank you very much for coming to the program today. We really have to bring this to a close, but we want to say thank you, and we want to encourage all those people out there to be part of this conversation going forward, and of course take this advantage of some of the things Faisal is talking about and begin to widen your scope, your horizon, your thinking capacity, your creative capacity, and you know, be close to people like Faisal, you know. Be close to people who went to France. Ask them, what did you learn from France? How can they take advantage of it? There are many. Uganda, I think, had over 20 people that went. And I think these 20 people are back. If they can share as much information, that would be very great. And Faisal, one last thing as you go. You've talked about GNL, and I think that there is a new Nsimbi band that was created after 5 years of being in America. He's back in East Africa, and I think it launched a new product this year. Are we going to see this new product, you know, make its way programmed on Bahimba?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with GNL.
Yes,
I know he asked me some months ago for a meeting, but I haven't really had. I've been also busy.
Yes.
But I think it's, you know, I admire the work. I admire the level of creativity and the maturity in it, and I think it's one way of returning that kind of talent to our country to inspire other young people. And I think he has a mission to also engage more young artists to learn from him, to be helped by his work that he's doing so that they can also move another step forward. So that's really the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of nurturing others, because he's been nurtured. He's gone through a process whereby other people have helped him, and now he's coming back to help others. I think it's a very genuine thing, and I'm looking forward to working with him, inshallah.
Wow. And thank you very much. You've added from there. So I asked that question because if somebody's doing something important, I think that it's important for us to actually be able to support them, to make sure that, you know, we give them opportunity to be part of that. And I think GNL right now has that form of art coming. There's Kinobe who has a new thing and is thinking of coming back home and showcasing it here. Are we going to see some of this new art coming back to
it's fascinating. It's fascinating because what has been happening is that most of the people, they had nowhere to go.
Yes.
You know, like Kinobe, you know, if he comes here, where is he going to perform?
Yes.
Except in maybe at Ndere Center, which is, you know, might be not ideal for his sound.
Yes.
The National Theatre is too small for him.
Yes.
So we need to start thinking for our artists and start, and we need to start thinking like, okay, even if JNL wants to put up a concert, where? Serena, that's not a concert place. Okay, we use it because it's what we have. You get what I mean? So we need to start thinking for our artists, like if we have this talent and we need them, we appreciate them, how do we start planning and preparing for them? And that's not a responsibility of only us in the performing arts industry or the programmers, but it's a responsibility of everyone in the planning, the government, in all this stuff. We need to start looking at all these people, even for example, all these young kids they are sending out to work in the Middle East. What do we plan for them? Okay, let's go, they work for 2 years and whatever they collect, when they come back, what do they find? What are we planning for them? I think it's important that we know, okay, when you send someone to acquire a skill, you have to make sure that when they come back with that skill, they find where they can practice that skill. You get what I mean? So if we have all these great musicians, the Kinobes, the Ntare Guma Mwine, we have you know, JNL now, we have Oscar, we have so many in contemporary dance, in film, in theater, you know, they are all out there making headlines. The Daniel Kaluyas, they are making headlines. When they come home, what do they find?
So it's basically an opportunity for everyone who is investing now to say, let's invest in a bigger platform.
I was actually thinking, you know, recently I was driving around and I saw all these Sudil buildings putting up, and I'm like, because he's an investor and he has an opportunity and he has so many stuff that he's working on in his head. But does the Capital City Authority sit with this guy and tell him like, okay, you're an investor, you're a real estate investor, but this is our plan as a city. As you're thinking of building a hotel here, a mall here, can you also work with us you know, to create some of the things that we want as a city. So that because it's your space, it's your investment, but these are some of the ideas we need for this city. You get what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Can you think around, instead of building 10, 15 hotels, can also build a theater here? Can you also put a black box here? Can you put a studio here? Can you add it in your plan?
Yeah.
That would be really smart, you know, because he's already investing. Yeah. He's putting in, like I see him, he's adding another wing at Kabira. What if, you know, that space, I would imagine putting a theater there. Instead of those box rooms, you know, putting a theater there. One of the halls and making it perform. Because
you're now speaking like a performing artist, a programmer, yes.
Like you have a hotel here, and then people can stay there, and then you have a performing space here. You know, it's
where
in the
people
middle.
can actually
exactly.
come. It creates that ambience.
And then you can see that, you know, you put one in that area. Bokoto serves in Tinda, serves whatever. And then if he's investing at Simba Manyo, now he owns it, I hear. Then you can also, you know, put something like that supports that community there. You know, you plan with the city. I wonder whether they have this conversation, because I don't see it happening.
Perhaps we need to bring this conversation there. I mean, well, the Creative Industry Talk is meant to bring the policymakers together. And we've been trying to get the policymakers to come to basically have this conversation with the creative minds, the policy people who are in the policy business, to say, hey, come together and let's have a conversation. Maybe we need to engage some of these people. Perhaps some of these things are not out and they are not aware. And it's something that we need to think through. But, well, thank you very much, Faisal.
Welcome.
First of all, for coming to the program today. We've got to spread love. No. The spread love is spread from here, and then you spread the love outside to the rest of the people. And we want to say thank you for coming, and looking forward to having you again back on the show, and of course visiting Lunkulu. If you haven't visited Lunkulu Island, please do. And Faisal has an amazing place there in the island just between Buikwe and Mukono. Please visit Lunkulu Island and see the new theater and some of the fantastic stuff coming into that forest in the island. And of course, you will be amazed. That is the moment that brings us to the, you know, the close of the Creative Industry Talk today. Until next time, we stay blessed, stay focused, stay creating, stay creative, and take advantage of the opportunities available to you. And of course, stay away from the disease that might destroy you before you achieve your dreams. Eddie Okela, Faisal Chiwewa, signing out.
This one is called manual brewing. This is Gravity manual brewing.
Yeah.
It's part of specialty. So we've been talking about specialty. Specialty came and introduced to us manual brewing, two methods of brewing. That's the main difference between specialty and commercial.
Yeah.
In specialty cafes, you'll find people, baristas doing manual brewing.
Okay.
In commercial, they'll be doing only machine, espresso machine.
Okay.
That's another method. And this is another method. So we do this one manually. What's the main point of manual brewing? And what is our expectations?
Yeah.
Why do we make manual brewing? What's the difference between this and the normal coffee?
Yeah.
First of all, it's not about making strong coffee, making whatever. No, we can make manual brewed coffee, a very nice one.
Yeah.
What we are looking for is optimum balance.
Okay.
Shouldn't be bitter, shouldn't be too acidic, should be balanced.
Okay.
So someone should drink coffee and enjoy only that.
Yeah. Let's put up the camera.
The Bite of Benin in Kampala, what is it about? What are you serving? Why the Bite of Benin? Tell us more about this restaurant.
Okay. First of all, the name Bite of Benin, we were deliberate about the name, right? It's a play on the word to bite, but there's actually a body of water called the Bight of Benin, which is situated within the Greater Gulf of Guinea on the coast of West Africa. So it's either called the Bight.
That's the only time I learned the only thing I respect from my history. These other things I don't respect. Because now you're talking about, yes, yeah.
So it's either the Bight or the Bay of Benin, but we named it Bight of Benin, and it's always a great conversation starter, right? So our intention is to offer food across the 16 West African countries, right? We have foods that are common to us. We have the jollof rice, we'll talk about that. We have the different sauces. So what you will find is maybe slight differences in the technique or some of the ingredients used.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what the Bight of Benin is all about.
Yes.
Why did you decide to put this restaurant in Kampala, not anywhere else?
First, we're based here in Uganda, but more importantly, we wanted to set up a place where you would come in and explore West African food. So the Bight of Benin is not just about food. Our plan actually is to have it as a center where you will have the arts, so music, spoken word, poetry, artists, painters, sort of like a gallery also, showcasing what we have in West Africa. That is the overall plan for the Bight of Benin. So it's not just about food, but actually bringing West Africa to Uganda, to East Africa. Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Felix Eopal, and it is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk, the show where we discuss everything about basketball, what is happening, what is not happening, what we predict is going to happen. And this afternoon, we are graced with the appearance of Frederick Freedom Wara. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing Slam Dunk Basketball Talk with your time.
Thank you, Felix, for inviting me to the show. Honored to be here. I think it's been a while.
Definitely, it has been quite a while, and as proprietor of JKL Basketball Organization, there's a lot of talk since the season is about to begin. So let's start with what preparations does JKL have ahead of the start of the season? Because definitely so many viewers out there want to know what to expect from JKL.
I can say that we actually held trials last weekend.
You had trials last weekend?
We held trials last weekend.
Okay. Tell me about tell us about that.
At our JKL Arena.
Okay.
In Mukono, Namaiba. So it was good. We're happy with the turnout. Some players came as far as Mbale, Soroti. Okay. The couple of players from Kampala that came. And we even had a friendly.
You had a friendly. Which team did you have a friendly with?
With Bugema University.
Bugema University. Yeah, how did that go?
It was a friendly game. You know, you can't come and beat us at home ground.
Most people don't know about the JKL Arena. Please enlighten our viewers out there. We are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on our website, House of Talent Uganda, UG.
Our JKL Arena is in Mukono. It is on Katosi Road, a place called Namaiba. So as you reach the trading center of Namaiba, on your left hand, you'll see the signpost of JKL. Dolphin Sports Arena. So we have there the basketball court, we have accommodation, Okay.
Basketball court, accommodation.
We have a bar.
Oh, there's even a bar.
Yes, so you can take some drinks. We have gardens, so you can chill. We have a kitchen.
This investment, how much did it cost the JKL organization, and how were the funds able to be collected? Because that's something that the viewers out there would love to know, and because I believe various teams would also want to have such a place.
I think the arena, we are in phase 1, okay? We are just on phase 1 of the project. You know, we are running a program.
Okay.
And I think now we are in year 7 of the program, but 2 years have been eaten away by COVID. So we are like 2 years behind. So we've invested, we started the program around 2013.
2013.
Okay? That is when before we started the team.
Because I believe when you look at the records, JKL was not yet in existence in FUBA records by 2013.
We already had a plan. Actually, in 2012, we had a plan to buy Res Life when they were in Division 1. In NBL, actually, NBL. The year they were in NBL, I think that's 2012. We held discussion between myself and my partner, Emmanuel Anguela. So, with Hudson, okay? But
the current general secretary.
Yes, so we didn't just agree on the price, because I think that time they were struggling and we wanted to inject money. But the idea was to buy and then add more players, and then we set up the team. However, after we didn't come to an agreement, we said, okay, what do we do? Let's plan and set up a team in lower division and grow it. However, as a program, we started planning long term, and our program is way different from, I think, other teams.
How different is it from other teams when you say different?
What we are looking at is in a scenario whereby we have players, after playing for JKL, they should be able to have continuous income. Okay, they should be earning when they retire. They should be either.
So what you're saying is that the program is to try and ensure that when the player stops playing basketball, at least they have a job. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they should have something to do. Either they are working within the organization, they are coaching, okay? Or they can start up their own work. Because if you look at what we do, especially with the academies, we have a session when we are training the kids. We have a session for life skills. Okay. So for life skills, so we ask them what they want to be in future. Okay, what their plans are. We talk to them.
You develop them so that they can be self-sufficient.
Yes.
That is actually that is very brilliant stuff for Ugandan basketball and for so many athletes, not just for the game of basketball. I wish JKL could also expand that and put it to a bigger platform.
What we're doing, like I told you, we are in phase 1. We are going to have 3 phases. Okay. So we are finishing the first phase, and part of the first phase was to set up the academy, start the team, set them rolling, okay, and have the team self-sustaining, okay, so that if freedom is not there, or any other directors who are funding the team are not there, or if the sponsor is not there, the club is able to survive.
The club can still go on.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the key things, the season is soon starting and everyone is eager to know which players has JKL signed on.
Which one do I started? We have 2 teams.
The senior team.
We have both. We have the ladies, we have the men.
The men's team.
I think the men's team, got done before even end of 2021. We had discussion with the potential targets for 2022. We've already talked. Okay.
And how far those discussions?
No, they're already on board for 2022.
They're already on board.
Like I told you, we already sold to them the plan for 2022. The plan for 2022 is after COVID. We are doing a cut.
Okay? Oh, yeah. So what you're saying is ahead of the 2022 season, you're going to have some players cut off the team.
No, we are cutting the costs. Or operational costs.
Operational costs.
Okay.
And how are you doing that exactly?
We are cutting operational costs. Yeah. Let's just assume you're earning $1,000. Okay. We met with some of the players and told them, okay, this is COVID time, so we are realigning with the company overall objective of the club. So if you can take a 20% pay cut.
Oh, so you're doing pay cuts?
No, we're doing restructuring.
How okay, calling it restructuring is a way of being euphemistic about it.
No,
but how are the players interpreting it and taking it?
They're okay. The players are okay. And we already have a team for 2022 season for the boys. I think
which surprises can you give our viewers at the moment that they will be seeing wearing a JKL jersey?
There are many players. Actually, we are rebuilding the boys team. We are rebuilding for BAL, so we are looking at a 3-year program. So most of the players are young. Okay, and then we have some experience.
Oh, you are rebuilding for BAL.
Yeah.
So that means JKL is going all out to win it, because you cannot go to BAL unless you're a champion.
We are rebuilding, so it's going to take a 3-year program. Okay, I said we are rebuilding for BAL, like for 3 years. We are trying to do a 2 or 3 year program to rebuild, so that we are able to participate in BAL. We want to cut our expenditures slightly, okay, to align with the current market. Number 3 is we're going to recruit players that fit our profile.
What is that profile exactly? What is the JKL profile?
Our team is built on first skill, okay. Then we have when we recruit players, there's not everybody fits the system. There are those who love the club, okay, like come to you and I say, Felix, some players come and call me like, you know what, we want to come to JKL. So like, what are your expectations?
Okay. And what do you tell them when they come and, let's say, such players, and they ask for wanting to have a place in JKL?
No, they are free to come, train with this team, and the coaches will decide.
So it is open, they can come and then you evaluate?
Yes, they are free.
What criteria do you actually base on when doing that evaluation?
One of them is, it's not about the skill set. We normally sign players who go hard.
Hard. So attitude, desire,
positivity.
That is what I believe when you say heart means. Attitude, desire, passion.
Yes. Okay. And players, in the process of talking to them, we realize what do they want to be in the next few years. Okay. What are their structures? What are they planning? So those are some of the things we use when we are recruiting. But the boys we already have, I think we remain with one slot, two slots, which we are keeping for the boys team. For the girls, I can tell you,
JKL Lady Dolphin has been amazing. So I don't know if the trend is going to continue going on.
It is 2 years without players actively playing, so it's difficult to assess their fitness levels now. And a winning club, we won like for 2 years, we're going to third, fourth.
You won JKL Lady Dolphins won back to back.
Yeah, so originally the plan was normally, if it's any successful team, you can win 4 times with the same team.
Well, City Oil has been doing it for 7 years.
Because they keep adding new blood. Okay, as others leave, you keep adding. Okay, so then you start to keep adding. So I think if you've seen the way they have run, they won like for 3-4 years comfortably, and then they kept adding more younger players into the team and some experienced players, more younger players into the team and some experienced players. You can't keep the same old players.
So that is the same strategy that your ladies' side is going to be taking on.
It is for both teams, both the boys and the ladies. And the ladies, we're going to have young and experienced. And I think the ladies, I have one player who I think is going to be amazing. I think he'll be in the national team in 2 years. I think.
You have
I have high expectation of the kids. We have added so far 3 new players, fresh from high school. And you know, when they come to the league, they take 1 or 2 years to settle in.
Yeah, because I was just about to ask you that if they're fresh from high school, then the transition usually is not that simple.
Yeah, we have a program. You see, our program with the young players also different. There are so many things that take place behind the scenes that people don't know. The young players have a special training program. Okay, so which facilitates them to join the senior team. Okay, at earliest opportunity. We have a special program for the young players.
Because most of the fans, or even when you go to the comments and everything, they're like, when is JKL winning a title? Is this their year or not?
We have already won a title. Which title?
The men's team.
Oh, the men's team.
Yeah, that is.
I think last year we had a chance.
Those are the comments. Even when I posted and I mentioned to our viewers, our fans, that you would be our guest today. They were asking, when can you tell us when JKL will be able to win a title?
JKL is going to win a championship, okay? The men will win a championship.
Some of the views are that you have one of the best power forwards in the country, in Brian Namake, and yet the team is still struggling. What is your view on that?
Prior to 2019 season, I think we had kept a team, a unit for a while. We actually needed like 3 players to take us to the next level, and that was the target. But you see, we tried to look for those players across the region. There were few that fitted the profile we wanted. Okay.
Why were you looking for players across the region? Couldn't you like look for talent or within the region?
You see, at that time, most of the best players within the region were already locked up in their clubs. Okay, so it's difficult to get the player from maybe City Oil. I think you understand. It's difficult to get a player from them, or it's difficult to go to APA. This Patriots in Rwanda. It's difficult. Okay, it's difficult to get a player from there. So we were looking. The scouts sent some videos, but as a TD, I don't believe in videos. Okay.
Oh, you believe in first looking at the player and assessing them yourself.
So I was supposed to travel. There was a player we were targeting in Zambia. They told us there was a big man. I was supposed to fly there to identify the player. And then things came around. I was supposed to travel to Nairobi to check on some players. And
that expense is quite something. We will get back into the discussion. We are with Frederick Freedoms Onyora, the proprietor and technical director of JKL Basketball Organization. My name is Felix Paul. We return after this short break.
according to you, do we have a financial problem in FUBA, or there's a certain underlying problem that we are not seeing that actually leads, to this financial issue?
I think I will not say there's a financial issue in FUBA, because I don't know what takes place there. I think I'll talk about on the side of like managing a team or something. Most of these teams don't have sponsors, and you see when you have a league or when you have a team, there must be strategy for sponsorship to come in. And I was talking to, I think, one of I think a company. Our league was kind of like long, and there's no mileage and stuff like that. But since media houses have been coming in, because for a corporate company to invest, they must have value for money. They must have that mileage. So I think the marketing department of the federation had to do that, like to put the game out there. The game out there so that sponsors can come in. But without that, we can't really get finances. You also know that. So where does it start? Basketball must get a home. If we get a home, maybe like YMCA, the funds, in, we do marketing. You guys are doing a great job of putting up basketball talk shows, because when we talk about this, and maybe there's a corporate companies are following in, we'll get brands coming in. Otherwise, this is going to be the problem. We have to market, because the game is there. The referees have improved. The coaches are there. But we have to put in the game out there so that we can get sponsors.
It is never too late to start anything, that is for sure. You can start on anything and everything at any time. It is not yet, like, time is not close. You can do it. Put God first, like Bernie said, put God first. Number two, I have a mentor, she's called Letitia, the one of KCCA. Like, she will call me to ask me, did you train? Like, get that one person that is going to do that for you, and I thank God for her. Get that one person that is going to do that for you. It can be your coach, it can be someone that has played the game. Bernie is here and she's willing to do that for you. Please reach out to her. Basically that is it. And also trusting yourself. It starts with you. If you feel like you can't do it, even when you try it, it's not going to move. But when you feel like you can do it, with God helping you and having your mentor by your side and all that, you can surely make it.
A lot has been happening in the game of basketball. First of all, as Slam Dunk Basketball would like to first thank the Silverbacks for doing the nation proud and for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. It was a tough task, and history was made when the Silverbacks, our boys, were able to beat on Nigeria. Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk, and we are discussing basketball. And in studio, I'm with Frederick Freedom Owora, the proprietor and also technical director of JKL Basketball. We were just discussing the issues of JKL and what is going to be happening coming the new season that is just about to start. So, Freedom, there was and there is trouble in paradise. Before a few months back, Jeff announced that he was stepping down as president of the club. And he did not reveal much to the media. The only issue that he revealed was that it was an internal matter. Now, to the viewers of Slam Dunk Basketball Talk, may you please help them understand that situation.
I want to state that JT leaving the team, is going to lift some hole, okay? Last year, because we are good friends, okay? I can say we are very good friends. We meet, we talk, okay? But it was his decision, okay? We did not have any internal fights, okay? But it was his decision to leave the team, the senior team. So he wanted to start his own team, okay, which I think he has started. So we agreed that he will take over the junior teams, the JKL junior teams, which were in the lower division.
Okay.
The boys and then the girls. So I think that is what he is. He's a passionate guy. He loves basketball. I've met few people who love the game like him. I think he will bring something new. The team will bring something new to the league. Whenever there's a new team that comes up, there's something new they bring. A little bit of organization is going to come with it. Okay. So, but there's nothing like any fight. I don't want to say people say there's any fight. Okay. I appreciate the time we spent with JKL. Okay. Yeah. So I think it was marred by COVID. COVID came back to back, and I think I can understand his reasoning of the way he left the team. It is okay. Okay. But that does not mean that JKL is going down. I've recruited, I told you, 3 players. I've recruited for the senior team. We've been there before he came. Okay. I think we will still be okay, strong. As we speak now, I'm going to tell you, as part of our growth strategy, we've acquired like 5 acres of land outside Uganda. We were going to the far northwest Uganda. So we are going to put up an academy.
JKL is putting up another academy?
Yeah, we are going to put up another academy there, and we want to expand to other sports in future. So we're planning after we first want to monitor this first 10 years, which is 2024. We expect by next year to be self-sustaining. Okay, the club should be able to generate enough revenue with the plans we have put in place. We are setting up a new board. Okay, so soon we are still discussion with one more board member to have a strong board of 7. Okay, so we're planning this year to host our games, and we have written to the federation, and I hope they grant us the permission. They come and visit our home court. In that way, we can sell some drinks during game day. We can generate some money. We can get some money from branding the walls and whatever. The place, we will get some money. Okay.
Brand value, and then you are planning on, let's say, in simple terms, attracting more sponsors.
Yes, on board. But we're doing something. We just JKL both is a company limited by guarantee. Okay, we
explain that to the viewers.
Now, a company limited by guarantee means we're not for profit. Okay. However, with the coming of COVID, most NGOs we got a 5-year license from the NGO board in 2019. Okay, so that expires in 2024. Okay, so we are running the NGO part. So this year we are focusing on climate change. Okay, so those are some of the themes that we are going to happen this year, and reducing poverty. And then we are also doing the business wing. So we are doing the social enterprise, kind of. So you will see us having a JKL shop. Okay.
JKL is going to be a different club in Ugandan basketball.
Yes, yes. We are going to have a JKL shop. We are going to have merchandise being sold there, the jerseys, the balls, so many other things. And we are going to do international trading. Okay.
International trading.
Yes.
Please further explain that to me. So that because I'm also intrigued by, by knowing this.
We are going to do international trading. International trading, we do trading across borders, Europe, Africa, and everywhere.
So
that's the business wing.
This shop, where do you intend it to be? Because so many viewers are actually now they're eager to know much more.
So we are reorganizing we're going to have the shop will be there in Namaiba. We have an office space at our home clubhouse. We have an office space. We have stores. Okay. We have places where we have halls where we can keep the merchandise. So we're going to initially the first few months we're going to do an online shop. So wherever you want item you want, you order, and then we have people to deliver the items to you.
So you, online, deliver. That has been working for various organizations.
And then towards the end of this year, by around August, September, we should be having at least a shop within the city. Okay, where a store where someone and some staff working there, where somebody who wants an item from the other side can easily pick them from the
who can pick them physically without the online stuff. So organization wise, you talked about JKL having their own AGM. When is that going to happen, and what is the structure?
We expect our AGM to be there before end of April. Okay, and then the new board will come into place. They will do the strategic plan, the 5 year. We are doing a 5-year strategic plan first, and then we plan the way forward. But by end of April, we'll be able to go to kickstart. We will be actually a step ahead. Now, this is phase 1 of our project. Phase 2 will start after 2024. Phase 2, we will convert the place into like an arena, because the structures are there. We started the foundation of the place a few years back. Then we hit financial stuck somewhere. So that's going to be in phase 2. And the phase 2 that will take another 5 years for phase 2. And then in phase 3 is when we're going to have we'll be able to host other clubs. Okay, if for example a team here wants to host FIBA tournament, we plan to have some accommodation. Okay, a wing where the players can stay, they can come. We're going to build like hostel kind of arrangement. Okay, if a team comes to play against us, they actually can come. Even the national team can.
So basically, a team can come over, reside. So JKL is actually going to have an opportunity whereby even FUBA can be able to host their games there, or other regional teams?
Yes.
That is what you're saying.
That's what we are planning. Okay, that's going to be in phase 3. Okay, but in phase 2, we will finish the arena. So we don't want to finish the arena and then we don't have accommodation. So we'll be missing money. Even the fans can come and watch a game and sleep over.
Oh, even me, I can come and in case it gets later.
Yes.
That's quite interesting.
Yes.
Quite
we still have we have accommodation, few places, few rooms right now there. So
I just hope they will not be too costly, so that which will scare some of the fans who would want to spend the night over.
No, they are not very costly. They are actually affordable. And then we have also camping tents. So okay, at the place.
So the camping tent will be cheaper.
The camping tents may be expensive because you can't put it anywhere. The place is big. Our facility is actually big. So
okay.
Yeah,
please tell our viewers. Remember, we are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on our website, Slam Dunk Basketball. We are with Frederick Owora, the technical director of JKL Basketball Organization. Please continue.
So we have camping tents. So if you want to go and play pickup or play tournament and you want to sleep over, you can sleep over. We have a kitchen. We can cook for you whatever food you want. Okay, you make the order. We have enough parking space, and we have even adjacent plots around where we plan to widen the parking. So the space-wise, we have.
Someone will be sure of their car being parked somewhere.
Yes. So one day, if you are from maybe Kokujero that side, you can pass by Katosi Road and brush, take a drink. Okay. If you are tired, you can order food. They give you at the club. So.
Quite an investment that very many basketball teams actually should also be looking at in terms of sustainability and in terms of ensuring that they have a steady flow of income coming in, because that is how they will be able to run their teams.
We are planning to buy the game clock and whatever. That will be used there. So I think the federation should not get worried that the equipment, cost of hiring equipment. So we don't host our games. We're going to buy before the league begins.
The clock, the 24 hours.
We are going to have one at the venue. We in the next shipment we should be able to have it this month. We budgeted for February, so we should have the game clock and other stuff so we can host our games. Then we also plan to do, there's a JKL tournament which has been long overdue.
I was meant to ask you when the date for the JKL tournament is meant to be, because we've had the KIU 3-on-3, there's another 3-on-3 that is actually happening. Now the JKL tournament has been long overdue. I don't know if there are exact dates that you can give our viewers of when it will be and which format it will be in.
We are planning a simple tournament so that the players can get some fitness, some games behind their back, okay, before the season begins. So the manager is organizing that.
Okay.
Okay. But then we are planning the real JKL International Tournament. Now that's the big one.
JKL International Tournament.
That's the big one.
Please further elaborate
so the JKL International Tournament will take place between October and November. Assuming the league, it's going to be after the end of the season. And we're trying to invite teams across. And we're putting a couple of dollars, a lot of dollars, thousands of dollars for the winning team.
If you don't mind mentioning them, because you're saying, you have mentioned JKL International Tournament.
That is the
and inviting tournaments, I mean, beg my pardon, inviting teams from the region.
Yes. That is, this year we should have season 1. It was supposed to be a year ago, but this year we should have season 1 of the JKL International Tournament. So we'll maybe do qualifiers here. Okay.
Oh, it will have a qualifier session.
We tend to put a lot of money so that the fans can enjoy.
Please tell our viewers.
And also we have teams across board, and the winning prize will keep increasing every year. Okay, so we expect like in 4 or 5 years across Africa, a team can fly from Cameroon or South Africa to come and play the JKL tournament, or from Kinshasa to come and play the JKL tournament.
Now, for the start, what is the incentive for a team taking part?
It will be around $2,000 for the beginning.
$2,000?
Yeah, for the beginning. But it may go beyond that. We want to put that to the board to decide the price. Okay? And then the partners that will come on board, we will be honest enough with them. Okay? Because if the money is for the players, it's supposed to really motivate them. They'll earn. It may be more than that. So we're looking for new partners. We're looking for a CEO for the NGO. Right now we are looking for a programs manager. Okay, but we require someone with some sports experience, because we tend to expand into other sports discipline after this one. This is supposed to be the model project.
This is the start.
Yes.
Of the JKL organization.
Yeah. So this is the model. We are using the basketball as a model sport project for the program, and then we plan either to do rugby or football, but then we'll start the academies, and that's why we are looking for more space. If we can get more space where we can have a bigger, put all the equipment, the facilities at once. Okay, so that's what we're planning. Okay, so I expect the fans to come this time in big numbers. Come and watch, support us. I believe if we spread the game across like football, a team travels to Fort Portal, the other one is to Arua, another one Tororo. This will give basketball a wider platform. We can't keep having the games only in Kampala. Okay, and the federation also needs to understand our position, why we need to host the game. Okay, because that will encourage other teams to also invest.
Definitely, because when they look at what you have set up as a JKL organization, they will also want to emulate, and they will also come and ask you about it. It is Slam Dunk Basketball. We return after this short break. Felix Eopal is my name, and in studio, our special guest is Freedom, or the technical director of JKL Basketball Organization.
endeavor to.
So, according to you, do we have a financial problem in FUBA, or there's a certain underlying problem that we are not seeing that actually leads, to this financial issue?
I think I will not say there's a financial issue in FUBA,
Yeah.
Because I don't know what takes place there. I think I'll talk about on the side of like managing a team or something.
Yeah.
Most of these teams don't have sponsors.
Yeah.
And you see, when you have a league or when you have a team,
Yeah.
there must be strategy for sponsorship to come in.
Yeah.
And I was talking to, I think, one of I think a company. Our league was kind of like long, and there's no mileage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But since media houses have been coming in, because for a corporate company to invest, they must have value for money.
Yeah, that's true.
They must have that mileage.
Yeah.
So I think the marketing department of the federation had to do that, like to put the game out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game out there so that sponsors can come in.
Yeah.
But without that, we can't really get finances.
Yeah,
you also know that.
Yeah.
So where does it start? Basketball must get a home. If we get a home, maybe like YMCA,
Yeah.
the fans, then we do marketing. You guys are doing a great job of putting up basketball talk shows, because when we talk about this,
Yeah.
and maybe there's a corporate companies are following in,
Yeah.
we'll get brands coming in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is going to be the problem. We have to market because the game is there.
Yeah.
The referees have improved. The coaches are there. But we have to put in the game out there so that we can get sponsors.
Welcome back to the final segment of Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. Felix Eupal is my name, and in studio, like we have been discussing, I'm with Freedom, or the technical director of JKL Basketball Organization. The league is about to start. So many things have been right and wrong. What do you think, in your view, are the major things that the administration should first focus on 2022 season kicking off?
I think we need to have a clear plan. Okay, from the federation, they need to have a clear plan. We need to know how long the league is going to run. Okay, so that the clubs prepare both mentally and financially, and also they need to communicate the exact date in which the league is going to kick off, because that helps the teams in planning. Okay, it helps the teams in planning. We have not had an AGM for 2 years. Okay, we had one virtual, I think, last year. That's not an AGM. Okay, the other thing is we need to have people who are in technical committee. People who actually
need to meet physically and
yes.
elaborate matters.
Yes.
The virtual one that you just mentioned, what transpired?
They were just promises. What promises? I can't even recall. I think I was traveling to Rukungiri for function. I just put on my headset and someone can say I attended the function, but we need to have a policy in place. I don't even know who is auditing them, the federation, because some of the things need to...
The federation has a finance department. I guess that is their job to answer.
If you go to the federation and ask for a settlement of account, and you see if you will get. So the league is going to start. I know teams are prepared, the fans are prepared. So one of the things, first, they need to communicate the guidelines. What do teams need to put in place before they play the league? Okay. Number two, they asked for the rules. You know, these rules are made by the managers.
Yeah, but the regulations usually change.
Yeah, you see, the rules are made by the managers. But then sometimes, you know, why some people don't go to the AGM is because it reaches an extent where people dictate. You know what they want, what the top people want. They're not going to change.
Okay.
So they need to give teams the exact date when the league is beginning. Number two, let's state, have the protocols. What are teams required? Okay. What do teams need?
Requirements for every single team.
Okay.
To be able to participate
in the league.
Okay.
Okay. Then teams will start to plan. Okay. Then how long is the league going to run? Which are the venues?
The venue part is actually one which is very tricky up to the moment, because the venues keep on shifting. Now we have YMCA, Kansanga, UCU. So that is one issue I believe that should be very key when it comes to the AGM.
It is true, because
as a technical director of a team, I believe that is one of the things that should be discussed.
Yes,
because like you've been mentioning, and we've been having this discussion throughout the show, the venues have a cost implication to the team.
That is true to the teams, but you see, when we as managers, once we set to venture into the sport, we must have a budget. Okay, you can only know the budget, prepare the budget when I know games are either going to be YMCA. I will have to travel to Gulu, okay, to play an away game. Okay. Gulu has been coming to Kampala to play games. Yes. How many teams go to Gulu? Okay, and then there are fans there. So you do the budgeting. Or I'll travel to UCU, or I'll travel to KIU. But why are the fixtures being put at UCU and KIU only? That gives them favorable advantage.
Those are the issues that have to be discussed at the AGM and then have to be resolved. Because so many teams are also having various complaints. Those are the matters that have to be broken down when it comes to the league starting, so that 2022 basketball league does not start when it is like that.
We wrote a letter beginning of 2020 when we finalized our court, requesting the federation to come and inspect our court, okay, premises, and we want to host our games from all the home games and all our playoff games. Okay.
And
because we had that in plan.
Did you get a response?
No response. They never came. Okay. Okay. So when you write a letter, the federation, and they cannot communicate, there are so many instances where we've lost potential sponsors because we told the sponsor the game is at YMCA, and the last minute in the morning, maybe around 9 or 2 or in the evening, you receive an email at 10, game has been pushed to KIU or UCU. And how do you again communicate to the sponsor that, you know what, you see the federation, that's lack of what? Of organization. Let's have the venues, okay? If in a club, Entebbe, I'm seeing Entebbe Ushers are hosting, okay? They're hosting, which is good. So the basketball fans in Entebbe can actually what? Enjoy. Okay? Even the fans in Kampala, there are people who, some of them have never been to Entebbe, maybe. Okay,
yeah, they would want to use that. Others might also just want to take the drive to travel to Entebbe and have basketball in a different field.
Rugby has been doing this. Pirates. I remember when they were shifting to Belgrade. They actually wanted us to have a court there, facility there, but I told them no, we already have a program which we are running like this. I passed there 2 weeks ago, and I met one of the rugby fans. He was very passionate, telling us, why don't we put for them a rugby ground? Shadon is soon going to be closed. Okay?
Yeah, because
but
they're moving.
What I'm trying to tell you is, when I went to Kings Park in Biogere, I saw more fans, more than 2,000 fans in the place, the facility. That is activity for that club. So that means the Pirates team can what? Generate revenue.
It's activity, and at the same time it creates employment. Various people selling different things and all that.
Unlike when they're still using legends. You get? So teams should be able to move their home ground. If Raise Life has a court, that I think around Lueza, we can go and play there. Okay? We can go to UCU and play UCU. Let UCU also come to our home ground. Let KI also come to our home ground. We can go to any other team. Makerere has, okay, home ground. We can move there. DJ has home ground, Luero. Let's go to Luero and play. Let them also come.
But the main question with that would be, will the fans be able to actually travel those distances? Telling them to go to, let's say, Luero, telling them to go to Ndeje, telling them to go to a different venue.
I think fans will travel, and let's not say that fans won't travel. The fans will travel, then we will get new fans. Do you know there are so many kids who are in Luero, for example, if you go to Ndeje in Luero, who will want to come and watch the game? Okay?
Yeah, that is that is very true.
Okay. Those are new fans. They'll get interested.
That's very true.
Okay? But if you see rugby, people travel to Jinja, people travel to Gulu, people travel to Masaka. Okay? Before, we were only having few clubs in what? At Camp Legends and what?
Yeah, the seven circuit.
Yes.
People traveled all over for all the 7 circuits.
Kasese, people travel, and then you get new fans. So if you stop thinking, you know, this kind of, we are cutting. What expense are we cutting? We must invest. Okay, and I applaud all the managers who are having teams. Okay, for the efforts they are putting in. People are investing. Last year I didn't watch so many games, but I followed the lower division. I saw there was a lot of progress. Okay, people are investing. There are new teams that have come up. Okay, I'm seeing them. They're investing. Okay, so what next? Let them also have. Let's go to maybe Namongo and play. Okay, the community there. Those fans will come. If you go to Namaiba, we will organize a bus for them to come and what? Watch a game in Kampala.
We'll go and watch the game.
Yes, come. That is how we will grow.
Because we need to find various avenues of how our league is going to be evolving and diversifying, and mostly as we wind up the ladies game. JKL ladies are up there, but the ladies game of basketball, what else do you think as Freedom can be done to improve it, to make it more marketable?
I think for the ladies, you know, times have changed. When we came into basketball, there were the players financially, teams have to invest. Some of these ladies actually don't do anything else, so they need to earn from the sport. But also the federation needs to have a leeway where teams can just easy access. When we come in the league, registration fee was 200,000. Now it's 3 million. So how many ladies team can afford that registration fee? And yet they are struggling with budgeting.
Other finances.
Okay. So if they want the ladies team to grow, let them reduce on the fee, registration fee for the ladies teams. Okay. Let's have a league. Okay. A league for the young team. Okay. For the players, let us have league for the junior teams. I've seen high school kids organize a tournament in Lugogo. Okay, successfully. The federation can do that. Let's have a league, like maybe Mukono, the schools in Mukono have their own league. Yeah. Wakiso, they can have league. Kampala have a league, and then they select a few. So in that way, both the boys and the girls game will grow. But right now, why the ladies game is going down is that few clubs can be able to afford to pay.
Registration fee of...
Not even the registration fee.
Of 3 million shillings.
Even the players. Registration fee and even the players. So now the ladies run to the clubs that can be able to pay. And then they leave out these other smaller clubs that are struggling. Okay? So maybe what they should do is they should need to organize themselves into NBCS, community-based organization, kind of. Okay? They have a purpose, and also they talk to corporate entities. There are many corporate entities that will be able to,
that are willing to pitch in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing Mavita is doing a good job with the Score Beyond and her team. They are doing a good job. So, the benchmark. You know, as managers, we need to benchmark. I ask Felix, what do you do? Okay. I ask the next manager, what do you do? How can we be sustainable? Okay. So those are the kind of forums that we should be having.
That should be happening. When the 2022 season begins, who do you think are your favorites to make the playoffs as we wind up?
The favorites to make the playoffs, every year.
For men, let's start with men before we go to
the
women.
men. We have the big boys. JKL is going to be there. Okay, we're going to make playoffs. I think we've never missed playoffs.
I like that phrase. The JKL, the big boys.
Yeah. Okay, as the big boys.
JKL is among the big boys.
Yes, we are the big boys. Okay?
You are you are the big
among
boys.
The big boys. Yeah. So
among or you are the big boys.
We are the big boys. Okay.
You are the big boys.
Yes. So we make playoffs.
JKL, the big boys.
City Oil will be there.
Okay, two.
Namongo Blazers.
Blazers. KIU for
Falcons.
Falcons. That is surprising. Okay, that's your list.
Among the new teams that are coming up, there was
new teams that came up. There was Tropical Blazers.
You see, there's still a technicality there among the new teams. So I am not sure whether they're going to be promoted. Because
according to the regulations, they say that the two teams have to come up.
You see, this is something, and this is another thing that's going to happen.
That is a discussion that will happen at the AGM, and we are yet to find out if it will change or not change.
Felix, watch the space. Okay? The communication was clear. The league is nullified. The 2 seasons, it was null.
Yes, the 2 seasons were null and void.
So there was no relegation.
But then the lower division happened.
And I'm asking you.
And 2 teams were promoted, the finalists.
So we are at 6. UCU, I have mentioned UCU.
Our Savior was promoted.
Yeah, our Savior is promoted. They have a good manager, actually. Koma is a good manager.
Our Savior is promoted.
I think they make playoffs. Yeah.
And Life was promoted. So,
Raise Life? I think they'll struggle.
So, what do you think having 14 teams will be a problem? Or the decision will be overturned?
It is something that...
now, as managers, those are the decisions we are going to wait for when you sit at the AGM to decide.
I actually, initially, when this whole saga came up about cancelling the league, and I talked to some few managers, and they were like, we've invested our money. The league, we want to get up. And this is the dream of every team that starts from down, is to get promoted.
Definitely. Okay? You have to keep on elevating.
And also, when you get promoted, we expect competition. So, but NBL is tough, So they invest. So I expect every team. I actually advise some of them, and I told them, okay, guys, let's do this. We can let them play. We promote 2 teams. We have 14 teams, and then next season, at the end of this season, we relegate 4. Okay, if we want to keep 12. 12 teams.
Yeah, because that is how the money is supposed to work.
That would, personally, that would be a fair justification for the managers who have put in their money over the season. They promote 2 teams, and then we have 4 plus the 12 which were there, and then we have 14 teams. Okay, so now the federation decides. That's why, you know, then they decide whether we do round robin or they group us, okay, depending. But his players have not played for a long time, so we need to have more games for our players to compete at international level. So we need to have more games. So I think it's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be an interesting season.
Definitely, it's going to be an interesting season. Thank you so much for sharing us with your presence and your time. Your last words to the viewers out there.
This year, I've started, you know, I've grown. You know, I'm CPA actually. When you call me Fredericks, you need to call me CPA. I'm CPA.
Thank you for that.
I'm
a CPA.
So
certified public. Yes.
I've changed my firm from Osila and Company to we bought TGS franchise. It is a French global franchise.
Congratulations on that.
So,
yes, that is a great way to start there.
The managers need to come and consult us for their books of account audit.
That is a great way to study. Congratulations from us at House of Talent. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. The other thing is we're going to have an interesting season. It's going to be a good season. Let people come and watch the games. Okay, let the fans come and watch the games. I encourage everyone to go and get vaccinated so that, you know, we have less issues of what infecting the players and whatever. That the fans go and vaccinate, the players vaccinate, the managers vaccinate, and then we get ready to rumble. It's going to be a good season, good, but a long one.
It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. Felix Eopal is my name. I've been with Frederick Freedom, or the technical director of Slam Dunk Basketball, and he has just confirmed and mentioned and told you that JKL is a big boy. It is one of the big boys, and it should be in contention, not in participation, of the league of 2022. Thank you so much. Catch you next time.
Thank you.
To start anything, that is for sure. You can start on anything and everything at any time. It is not yet, like, time is not lost. You can do it. Put God first, like Bernie said, put God first. Number 2, me, I have a mentor. She's called Letitia, the one of KCCA. Like, she will call me to ask me, did you train? Like, get that one person that is going to do that for you. And I thank God for her. Yeah, get that one person that is going to do that for you. It can be your coach, it can be someone that has played the game.
Okay.
Bernie is here and she's willing to do that for you. Please reach out to her. Yeah, basically that is it. And also trusting yourself. It starts with you. If you feel like you can't do it, even when you try it, it's not going to move. But when you feel like you can do it, with God helping you and having your mentor by your side and all that, you can surely make it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. And I want to tell our viewers out there, the players, the league is on. It's happening right now. Right now, the last game is being played in Entebbe Archers and Gulu. They won't have fans at the venues, but the games will be live on our social media handles. Yeah, So just tune in there. You get everything that happen in the league. There's promotion, so there's something to fight for. So the vibe and the psyche is still there. Yeah, thank you so much.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups. For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. You know, baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Brew Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. How are you doing? Is it morning? Is it evening? Wherever you are, that doesn't matter. It is time for coffee. And like I said last week, in the UK they say anytime is tea time, but here on House of Talent Television we say that anytime is coffee time. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials, that is on Twitter at HTV1, or you can go to our Facebook at House of Talent TV Uganda, or you can go to our website houseoftalenttvug.com, or you can catch us on YouTube at House of Talent UG. Live stream, make sure that you catch the show, and if you know there's a barista, there's a roaster, there's a farmer who should be watching this right now, let them know, tag a friend, share it far and wide. Well, today in the studio with me, I have a man who is a roast master. He's a double certified barista. I don't know how someone gets double certified, but we're going to get to know more about that. He's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he has more than 5 years experience in the coffee industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Chibuka Lawrence. Lawrence, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation to come here. I know that it's not an easy thing because on Saturdays people actually always want to rest. I know that the week can always be long, but thank you for coming. Just to start off, what does it mean to be a double certified barista?
Okay, first of all, it's nice to be here. Thank you for hosting me. I was eager to come here. Okay, Chibuka Lawrence, as he said. Most of my friends know me as Barista Reno. Yeah, that's the industry name. Okay, to be double certified, it means you have the barista skills and the barista knowledge. Plus also an extra knowledge of coffee brewing.
So that's what it means to be double certified.
So
so are there people in the industry who are just certified, like a single certification?
Yeah, many of them.
So people actually need to up their game and get into a double certification. Also, on your resume or your CV, it says that you're a roast master. In the world there, when someone says a roast master, it goes into comedy, like roasting someone. But what does it mean to be a roast master when it comes to coffee?
Okay, when it comes to coffee, to be a roast master, it means you specialized in roasting coffee. So you understand the bean itself, how to turn it from green to a consumable product.
All right, before we get into all the roasting, I know people are very eager to know what roasting is, the process of roasting, how does one become a roaster, We just want to get to know more about you. We know that you're Chibuka Lawrence, roast master, double certified, mentor, trainer, all these things, but who are you when you're not doing coffee?
Okay, when I'm not doing coffee, I'm taking coffee. Okay, coffee is my life. Coffee is my life, starting from years back. I was in janitoring, what we call housekeeping, in some hospital there. But I got a friend, a bro, so he told me about this coffee stuff. So I tried to catch an interest in it. So from there, I've never done anything else apart from coffee. So it rescued me from where I
was.
So when I'm not in coffee, I'm taking coffee.
So coffee was kind of like your salvation.
Yeah.
Okay. So still apart from that, what do you do on the weekends? Do you watch football, play football? Do you do research? You know, what kind of hobbies do you have as a person?
Okay, as a person, I watch football.
Yeah.
Also keep myself like updated.
Okay.
Updated.
Yeah.
Like I make more research.
All right.
That's why I keep upgrading.
Yeah. In coffee. So in football, which team do you support?
Manchester United.
So Manchester United, Arsenal, all in the same boat, you know? Yeah. People are saying that Ole should go. Are you of the same view? You think he should stay? With the bad record they're having right now, you think it's okay?
It's okay. Today you're having a bad record, tomorrow you're up.
So you guys are hoping that.
Yeah.
It's always good to have diehard fans. We had an Arsenal fan here sometime, and you know he was of the same perspective. Yeah, but anyway, this is not a football show. This is a coffee show. So, getting into roasting more. I believe that you were first a barista.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was it at that point that you decided and said, you know what, I just don't want to be a barista. I want to be a roaster also. What pushed you more into the roasting bit?
Okay. It's not that I didn't want to be a barista.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to upgrade. As I've told you, like I keep myself upgrading.
Yeah.
But it reached a time when you research about like the skills, the coffee skills, where youths are, like of my age, they're in baristering, and there are few roasters. So there was a need for someone to enter in that sector and also inspire others, because it requires a lot of reading, a lot of research than the practical.
Okay.
So I had to enter in that sector.
You had to open the way for others, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about roasting, okay, we know that the coffee chain basically starts all the way from the seed getting into the ground, the farmer, all the way to the cup. Okay, somewhere in the middle there you have different people who play different parts. Okay, you have the roasters, the baristas, the quality control, the graders, and all this. So when it comes to you, the roaster, okay, I believe that you have to pick a certain kind of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start our process from there. Okay, you go to a farmer and say, I'm a roaster. Okay, yes. How do you pick the kind of coffee that you, a roaster, would like to work with?
Okay, that's a nice question. Okay, as a roaster, when we are studying, we start from the seed.
Okay,
that's where the complicated part is.
Yeah.
We start from the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to an institute or an academy, they start you from the ground. You do quality control, you also process, then you cup, then you go to the general roasting.
Yeah.
So when I go to the farmer, since I have that knowledge of the quality controller, it gets easier to choose the good quality of the beans that I'm going to roast, of the beans that I'm going to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but not leaving something behind that every coffee is good coffee, even though it is undergrade.
Yeah.
We will sell it to
Yeah, we had a barista last week who said actually there's nothing like bad coffee.
Yeah, there's no bad coffee.
You can't even sell that one. So what does the roasting process look like? You know, from the beginning all the way, you know, to the end.
Okay, roasting process is generally like turning the green beans, or those are coffee beans, from their green state to the consumable state.
Okay.
Yeah, but it involves use of heat, use of mind, use of eyes, the nose, and concentration.
Okay, so I believe that there are certain steps that you have to take, okay, in the process. I was reading there are about 3 steps, okay? Yeah. So what are these steps that you have to take as a roaster for you to get the beans to where you want them to be?
Okay. First of all, we have what we call the variables. Like, there is what we call the changes. The changes before you go to the steps. The changes that you have to be in your mind. First of all, you roast with your passion.
Yeah.
You have to put your passion in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to make sure you're in a secure place. Your fire extinguisher is there. Your gas is already there, and the machine. So the steps are, you switch on electricity first. The machine, you switch on the electricity first. Then you switch on your gas.
Yeah.
And wait it to heat up. You wait for the machine or the drum to heat up to a certain temperature. Then you decrease it a little bit. Then you put your beans inside.
Yeah. So, talking about temperatures, okay? I believe that when you're roasting, the different kinds of coffee that you will get. Okay, you will get the light roast, you know, you get the medium roast. Okay, so what are these different temperatures that you have to put into consideration when you're roasting?
Okay. First of all, let me highlight this.
Yeah.
Let me first advise my friends.
Okay.
We have the specific like temperatures, the numbers that were written in books. But we are different people.
Yeah.
Different minds and different passion.
Yeah.
When you conquer that machine, when you're the one driving that machine, there's a way you concentrate on the coffee more than the temperature.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have to be down and they don't have to be so high. So it requires the mind, not the specific temperature reading. Like we are in a specialty world, world where we have now to appreciate the work of our farmers. The world where we need to get